And we are live. Javier, I hear you.
Well, the NBA is one win away from getting its wish.
Oh,
They
yeah.
wanted at least 6.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we had an earthquake yesterday off of I guess in the Gulf of Mexico, off of Cuba, and apparently you could feel it in Florida, maybe
Really?
more central Florida than here. I didn't feel anything, but it was like the biggest earthquake ever recorded in the Gulf of Mexico, like 6.1.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was actually a real earthquake, but I didn't feel it. Paula, those are 3 words in a row you will never hear out of me.
Yeah.
Ever. And anybody who knows my politics knows I lean far more right than left. It's the Gulf of Mexico. Even my daughter, who doesn't care, goes, "That's just dumb, Dad." Yes, it is.
It is dumb.
All right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Mouton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Mouton.
Good morning, top of the morning to you, Miller and Mouton. David's still on hiatus. He will be back on Monday. Seth Everett sitting in the co-pilot chair this morning. So good morning, Seth. Thank you once again for helping out. And lovely shirt, sir. Lovely shirt.
A vintage, well, not vintage, an authentic 1998 Seattle Supersonics polo shirt. Back when they the starters logo with the stripes down the middle. This looks like something Kid and Play wore in a music video.
I don't think you have the hair to pull off a Kid and Play look, but I love the reference. Seth, question for you, and we'll get to the sports in a second, but since you brought up authentic, is that the oldest piece of clothing that you own and wear, or do you have something that's even older?
Oh no, I have some stuff from when I was a kid growing up. I have
you still have some of that?
The original Devils jersey that I wore when I was like 11. Yeah.
Okay, you and David both. David's got, and it's not an actual authentic jersey. It's one that his mom bought him, and David talked about it. David grew up without a lot of means, but his mom bought him, a rip-off jersey, and I think Davidson might be on the back. It
wasn't a man of means, but along came 2 who had nothing but the jeans.
There you go. Wow, nice. I do not have clothing that old. I have something that goes back to the late 80s. I took a term off of school and waited tables in Florida, and a kid that I met that was also doing the same thing, taking a semester off from Connecticut waiting tables, and his buddy who went to the University of Miami. And back when basically the gray college T-shirt everybody wore, Seth, right. I have my University of Miami T-shirt. Nice. From 89, I believe. So nice. That's as old as I go. Wow. Last night we got ourselves a series. The road team has now won 3 consecutive games in the NBA Finals. San Antonio getting it done after a great second quarter by the Knicks. And you thought going into halftime, and I know basketball is a game that you can't look at the half and say, oh, this is over. And I didn't think that, but after a 42-point second quarter and a 7-point lead at the half, I'm like, uh-oh, we're gonna get a sweep. And San Antonio played a terrific second half. They ended up shooting 16 more foul shots in the second half.
It's fixed. It's fixed.
And as I mentioned yesterday, I'm going slightly political. Everybody hold on before you send me nasty text. You know that President Trump is going to get the blame for this. The Knicks had won 13 in a row. He shows up for one game. They lose. It's going to be his fault.
Yeah, he didn't shoot a free throw, though.
No, he did not. And credit to the Spurs. Wembanyama, after his comments after game 2, in which he had a bad turnover in game 1 when they had just taken the lead, and that definitely had to do with swinging things towards the favor of the Knicks. Then in game 2, he commits a turnover that you can't even deny cost them the game. Well, Last night, he has an unbelievable stat line, 32, 8, and 6. I'm not even sure how many blocks he had. He was terrific again last night. It's why I'm watching. And I've said it before, the Knicks, I'm not a pro New York sports team guy at all. I'm probably anti.
Yeah, me too.
If you took the jerseys off, I would like this Knicks teams. I like how they play. They play hard. They're fun. They're up tempo. But Wembanyama's worth watching.
Podcasts. They're fun.
And we need more of that. Now, it just so happens they happen to be a New York team. And
they're not the Rangers.
And they're David Moulton's team. So for him, I hope if they win him a championship, that would be fantastic for someone who has rooted for a team his whole life and doesn't remember, was just a small child when they won. I think like 6 years old or something like that when they won the first one. So that's not part of his memory bank. This would be. The irony is David's basically missed 2 weeks while the entire finals have been going on.
Well, I mean, first of all, give credit to Madison Square Garden. Take the Trump part out of it. That place was rocking, and it is the greatest acoustics. I've been there, 50 times in my life. I've covered games there. I saw Prince there a bunch of times. I've seen other concerts there. Billy Joel, whomever. It's a remarkable place to watch a sporting event. That said, it's where the New York Rangers play, and it's not my favorite building, but I give credit to that electric atmosphere. I understand. The idea that Madison Square Garden saw a game there for the first time since 1999. And, in 1999, I was in Seattle. I was working for the Sonics. But in 94, I was home. I was home in 94. And that's the famous year. That's the OJ chase. And that's the year the Rangers won the Stanley Cup. That's the famous year. I was interning at WFAN. And I remember the fever pitch for the Knicks then. And it's just magnified, and it's just insane. What I felt were not, and this is far from political, the people that were inconvenienced that couldn't get home yesterday because they couldn't get to Penn Station because they live wherever they live, and because of the event. And just remember that if there's game 6, that's during a World Cup game. And a World Cup game that you cannot drive to. So Penn Station's the only way to do it. So unlike the blockade that they had for Trump, they're going to it's going to be so much worse.
Help me out here, Seth. I get that they wanted everybody to take the train and they're starting the money. You can't get a park. I mean, there isn't a parking lot.
There's a giant parking lot. They're not letting them use it
at all.
That's FIFA, man.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, well, and so the World Cup game that day is at 3. So that's letting out, and everybody takes the train because you can't get there any other or a bus shuttle service.
Right.
Because, the Lincoln Tunnel will be a pleasure that afternoon. And just the idea that you have that fever pitch. So take that intensity and put all those people back in the building for a potential game 6 while there's a World Cup going on, it's going to get violent. People are going to get hurt. It's a terrible, terrible setup.
Right. And, it's funny. We had somebody complaining yesterday saying they didn't have a game on Sunday, which was just moronic to me. Neither the NBA or the NHL playing on the number one TV night of the week is
that was weird. Yeah.
It's stupid. It's not weird to me. It's stupid, Seth. And someone brought up, well, it was the Tony Awards in New York. Look, New York can handle 100 different events going on at the same time. It is the biggest city in our country. It is the event city, and it has been for a century. So they can handle multiple events. If they're going to end up doing a World Cup game, and I know it's New York City adjacent, but using the New York City public transit and a NBA Finals game on the same night, trust me, they could have done it with the Tonys, but neither here nor there. Last night, the only thing I will say, and I won't bring up President Trump again, I promise, neither good, bad, or indifferent. At that game, there are going to be people there who don't like him. It's obvious. New York is a 50-50 at best. It's a much more blue state.
Gary, how could they not like him?
Everybody likes him. So I think the person running the Jumbotron made a horrific error during our national anthem to put a picture of Trump up. They're going to boo.
No, he's the president of the United States during the anthem. You have to.
I think you can do it before, you can do it after. If to interrupt the anthem with boos, shame on the fans that did it. But I think that's a mistake of the camera operator. That's on me, or that's my take. If you disagree, that's fine. I just thought that was.
No, I think you have to do it. I mean, the whole idea of him being there was to me, it was very selfish. The people that were inconvenienced, the fans that were told to get there hours before. I was a witness to when Trump went to the men's final of the U.S. Open last year,
right?
Remember? And there were fans that missed the entire first set. I mean, because they couldn't get in. Now, I haven't seen the stories yet this morning about people that were stranded outside, but the building seemed very, very full capacity. I don't know.
It seemed like everybody got in on time. I'm with you. I mean, because the game at the beginning did, and obviously you don't see the upper levels, but the
Right.
lower levels looked very full, no doubt there. All right, so we've got a series now with the Spurs winning. We have got a monster college football story. Yeah. Brendan Sorsby, we've been following this for a while on the show. We will get knee-deep into it today. Matt Baker will join us on the show. Andrew Bradt will join us on the show. Andrew Bradt worked in the NFL as a lawyer, covers the business of sports, just wrote a book. Wanted to get Andrew on. We said it for years. Andrew used to come on our show maybe a little bit more often in years past. I always felt like I was a little smarter when I got done interviewing Andrew. So looking forward to talking to him in our pro hour.
Yeah.
And we will talk more NBA. Leigh Ellis will join us. We've got a game 4 tonight in the NHL after an amazing game 3. And I told you this last week, going to be tough getting hockey guests this week. You know why? They're all in Las Vegas. It's 3 hours behind. No one's getting up for a morning show. So I'm sure we'll do a little better when it gets back to the East Coast.
Wyshynski hasn't gone to sleep yet.
It's at the craps table, exactly. Won $100 in the slots, but it was the craps. It was the
Marlboro Lights.
Vegas probably one of the last towns you can still smoke inside.
Yeah.
There aren't many places anymore where you can light up indoors. I got to imagine it's been a while since I've been to Vegas. It's been, 6-8 years since the last time I was out in Las Vegas, but yeah, I mean, it's probably the last bastion for people lighting up a lung dart inside.
That's right. That's right.
Those slot machines wouldn't survive without it. So Matt Baker, Leigh Ellis, Andrew Bradt, all to join us on the show. We will get into this Sorsby case coming up in a bit. Seth, in authentic Sonics gear, the only guy, probably not the only guy happy that OKC got knocked out when they did. That made his day. No one else really cared because they probably wanted Wemby in the finals. Wemby, a big night. Last night, some other things, some other sports to report about. There's obviously things going on in baseball after last night. The Rays get a win, much needed against Boston. The Yankees keep pace with an extra inning win against the Guardians. And we'll start getting ready for Game 4 in the Stanley Cup Final tonight after, like I said, just a tremendous Game 3. Wild. 2 records set. The fastest hat trick, Mitch Marner in the second period. The fastest 3 goals in Stanley Cup Final history as Carolina roared back in the third period. Rob Brendamore says he knows who's starting in goal, but he's not going to tell anybody. Miller and Mouton trying to tell you everything we know. Seth Everett filling in. Thanks for listening.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
No! This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Mouton.
I'll let him answer, John, but I'm guessing the same. He talked about people being inconvenienced. They were. Come on. I'm the one that brought it up, for the record.
He is. The sitting president doesn't need to go to the finals. No, he shouldn't have been there. Doesn't matter who it was. The reason why he gets the criticism is because he's the one who decided to go. Other presidents had the chance and didn't.
Seth, I have a list that I saved just for you. I saw it on X yesterday, and I, clicked the article. 10 best Prince songs, according to this person.
Okay.
Number 10 is the 7779311.
Okay, that's a Mars Day song, but all right.
All right. Sister, number 9.
Oh, please. Who is this person?
I don't. Someone from Vibe. Purple Rain, 8. I Feel For You, 7. Cool, which is I guess the songs that he wrote, because there's several time songs. 1999 is 5. The Beautiful Ones 4. When Doves Cry 3. Do Me Baby 2. And Little Red Corvette 1.
That's a terrible list.
That's what I thought you'd say. That's why I saved it for you, Seth. It's the first time a president's ever been to an NBA Finals game, Deadstroke.
Yeah.
First time. It's the first time a president's been to an NBA game since Obama went to, I think it was a Bulls.
It was a regular season game, though.
It was a season opener, too, which was asinine in 99 or something like that. So, yes. I mean, obviously, we all know it, but that wasn't a World Series. Was that was it a World Series? No, after 9/11, that wasn't a World Series game when W was at the Yanks game.
Yeah, it was.
It was?
When he threw out the first pitch.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's different. That's a stadium. There's, they have, quadruple the gates. They have, you can put them in a football stadium. I mean, it's an inconvenience, but you can put them in a football season and a baseball season. Putting them in a basketball or hockey arena is dumb. It's dumb and selfish. No questions asked. And the idea that you put the whole city, New York City, on lockdown, that's terrible.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton. Seth Everett sitting in. David should be back on Monday. NBA last night. The Spurs with a big win, giving us the series. The road team 3-0. Who would have thunk it? I think we would have all lost a lot of money had we predicted the road team would have won the first 3 games of the NBA Finals.
But you would have said it would have been 2-1. Someone.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do think that's fair. I think I would have probably bet 2-1 the way that it is. I would have bet a split and the Knicks winning game 3 if you were to pin me down. In fact, I think I said on the air last week the Knicks would win games 1, 3, 4, and 6 and win this thing in 6. So I'll still hold true with my Knicks in 6 prediction. I think they get game 4 and then we'll take care of business in game 6. But the NBA got what it wanted last night because the numbers for these games have been ridiculous.
Oh, astronomical.
Over 19 million, the average for game 2. I think just under 17 million for game 1. So last night
more for Monday.
Oh yeah, last night will be much bigger because game 2 was a Friday night. That's not a good television night. Yeah. Saturday's the worst TV night. Friday is the second worst. So last night, and I believe Monday's the second best TV night after Sunday being the number 1 TV night. Numbers are going to be through the roof. Be well over 20 million average for that game. This series is going to do numbers the NBA hasn't seen in forever.
Good. Yeah, good for them. Well, and it justifies that new contract. They're not in the process of negotiating anything. They're kind of sitting pretty, but you want to see that league do well. Sure. I mean, I'm not I'm not a hater when it comes to this league. It's just what I want is them to fix the things that ail this sport. Get rid of tanking and get rid of the sitting games for no reason and all this other nonsense.
I had to laugh. I'm watching the pregame last night, and Adam Silver's on. I did not watch the first hour that was on
I saw
the four-letter network. I watched
that.
the half hour that was on ABC prior to the game. That's when I flipped it on. And Draymond Green kissing Adam Silver's behind, say, thank you for doing that for tanking, because the hardest thing to do is play against a team when they have 5 guys that don't want to play. Are you kidding me? I shut up. And everybody and Draymond's from my hometown, went to the same college I did. I'm a Draymond Green. I'm a Draymond Green fan, but shut up. All right. The other big story yesterday, and I could argue in a lot of ways it's every bit as big and in totality much bigger than last night's NBA game. Was
because
Brendan,
of the precedents it sets.
Correct. Brendan Sorsby, who gambled on college football for the team he played for, was denied reinstatement twice by the NCAA. But he did now what athletes do in this part of the 21st century. He found a judge and he got an injunction. So he is going to be eligible to play, albeit he's got to miss 2 whole games.
Oh boy.
During this season. The injunction suspended him for 2 games, I believe, against Abilene Christian and Oregon State. No conference games. And let's just say when this happened, the college football world went bat blank crazy, as they should. But Seth, even the reaction from college football was far more decisive than I thought it would be. I mean, from 2 schools right off the bat, Nebraska and the University of Georgia, saying shocked. We're not playing Texas Tech in anything. The president's the AD from Nebraska said we'll never play him in anything. The president of Georgia sent a memo that was somehow ESPN got. That's tough. And basically instructed all the coaches to not schedule them in anything. The Big 12, Seth, they're trying to formulate a boycott of Texas Tech. By the way, 2 schools were not on board. UCF and BYU, for what it's worth.
We're not on board to a boycott?
Yes. Everybody else, there's talk that the Big 12 will not play them this year. That's their conference.
I don't know. I don't know how that helps anyone. It's just the idea is you're upset with the ruling, but punishing Texas Tech. I mean,
well, all right. Here, let me take you on that one.
They wouldn't try to get their quarterback on. I mean, if we're going to start arguing the morals, who's moral in college sports?
Nobody. But Seth, come on. There's one rule in sports. You bet on your sport, you're done.
Oh, I get it, but what you're mad at is the judge, not Texas Tech.
Well, Texas Tech's bankrolled this whole thing. I mean, it's not like Sorsby's paying for it. The Texas Tech president, before this whole thing started, in a letter to the Texas Tech community, we believe his vulnerability deserves to be met with the full weight of this institution's support. Texas Tech billionaire Cody Campbell, who you've seen all the ads that he's paid for talking out of both sides of his mouth. We got to save the Olympic sports, while he's buying every player he can for Texas Tech. His comments yesterday, this unfortunate situation is the outcome of a broken system. I'm doing everything I can to fix it. But until there's a permanent solution, Texas Tech and its students athletes have to do the best they can to navigate and compete amid the chaos that exists in the reality of the world we live in.
Do you think other players that are currently betting for or against their own teams are now breathing a sigh of relief that they won't lose their eligibility?
Well,
the guy on Indiana or the dude on Drexel.
I mean, The one
If
thing
you
that I
think
find
Swordsby's the only one that's doing this, I'll sell you the Brooklyn Bridge, or I'll sell you Penn Station.
well, I don't want that right now. It's busy, especially for that World Cup game. All right. No, Seth. I think others are doing it. And they're doing it the same way he's done it. They, doing third-party people,
So
family, whatever
they're
the
seeing
case
this
may
story
be.
and they're going, yippee.
But Seth, come on. He got caught.
I know.
The
But now
fact that
it's
they
not gonna
got
matter
it,
if you get caught because-
the one judge recused himself, who was a Texas Tech grad. This judge, by the way, was not. So I just, if the NCAA didn't think that they need to make the players employees after this, I don't know what it'll take, Seth, because then they collectively bargain. Then they can actually have rules that they can uphold.
The Florida AD referenced the Black Sox scandal and
Yep.
Pete Rose.
Yes.
Oh, Pete Rose is so happy right now, and whatever heaven you believe in, or hell for that matter, Pete Rose is right now going, oh, this is tremendous.
There's never been a player in a sport who's been caught gambling on his sport that's been allowed to participate in that sport going forward. From the Black Sox to Rose, there's a basketball player there's the basketball players that are busted, Rozier and Billups. It's like Billups, he ain't coaching again.
Tim Donaghy.
So it is to me, and I love college football. Like that's probably, it's right up there as my favorite thing. The totality of it, going to the games, the atmosphere on campus, and and not just a Syracuse thing, because they've had a year or two here. It's just, when you go to SEC games, I'll even say, Notre Dame or Michigan, Ohio State. I've been to a lot of the big campuses. There's something special about the atmosphere on Saturday. And this one personally bothers me, Seth. This pains me.
I don't blame you. When I saw it, I just was shocked. I thought the story was over. I just thought there was no chance. I thought this was a formality that he was going, trying the court. Like this was a last gasp effort. I was shocked. I was reading Pete Thamel.
Yes, Pete Thamel.
Yeah, it's my Syracuse guy. Just stunned, just absolutely stunned.
Starting fives next.
Do you have a sleep problem but don't want to wear a CPAP mask? This is Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. The mask wasn't working for me, and I didn't think I had an alternative. I do. We all do. They have such simple alternatives with greater success than the mask. Visit sleeptreatmentdirect.com. That's sleeptreatmentdirect.com. And if you are like me and your CPAP machine isn't working for you, it's time for a change. Call 239-444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Why is Rich Eisen doing a thing on the history of SportsCenter?
I don't know. I didn't even know that he was.
It's like being advertised on ESPN Plus,
Okay.
which I just lost access to for the next couple months.
Well, I mean, his show's on ESPN now, I believe, right? Yeah, it's on his show's on ESPN Radio, his radio show.
Really?
Same as like the McAfee deal. He still owns it, but they're, paying him to carry it. It's still his show. Like it's the same basic setup as the McAfee show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's been on for a while now. I like when he gets this. I mean, I don't watch or listen to the 3 hours. I see a ton of clips, whether usually TikTok.
TikTok.
His ability to get the Hollywood, I mean, A-listers and B-listers. But I mean, the story that Kevin Pollak told on Rich Eisen about Jack Nicholson, still one of the funniest things I've ever heard. He says it was right after Magic. They're doing A Few Good Men, and Magic gets HIV. And he goes, I'm walking to my trailer, and Jack's in front of me, and Jack's just kind of mumbling to himself. It's surreal. And he can imitate Pollak's imitations are, all of them are spot on. And he's like, it's surreal. It's surreal. And he goes, he turns around and he goes, I haven't talked to Nicholson the whole movie. I'm scared to death of who he is. And, if there's 5 seats in the makeup thing and he's in one, I go to the opposite end. And he goes, and Kiefer Sutherland's walking up, Jack, how you doing? He goes, I am just not going anywhere near him. He goes, so we're walking back. I happen to be by him. And he turns around and he goes, you want to know what surreal is? And Pollak tells us, he's like, what, you're asking me, Jack Nicholson, what surreal is? And he says, I'm doing this film called Chinatown. And he's, oh, Chinatown. And he goes, I'm talking to, was it Hutton that's doing the movie? And he's sleeping with her daughter in the movie, but he's sleeping with this guy's daughter in real life. And he goes, I hadn't told the old man I'd kill for him. He's like a father to me, but I hadn't told him yet that I'm sleeping with his daughter. And he says to me, and I'm thinking about this as he's going through his lines. And as he says, Mr. Geddes, are you sleeping with my daughter? That's surreal. And he shuts the door to his trailer and he walks away. And I'm standing there going, what the hell? But yeah, he gets every sports. I mean, they're not always sports fans, but he seems to get every actor that's a big sports fan to come on with him.
Yeah.
But according to DC, he did another series interviewing famous broadcasters. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. When I went to ESPN just to read the stuff this morning, it's going out of its way to tell me to resubscribe to ESPN Plus, which I fully plan on doing in about 2 months. And it's telling me, and it's like, you can see Rich Eisen interview Chris Berman.
Yeah, I got to dump Paramount now. I've got nothing else. I know someone said Tulsa King. It just doesn't. Sly doing the mobster, it just doesn't even work for me. Like the whole premise doesn't work for me. Show may be really good. It just, no. I'll save my $45 until they give me a new season of Landman.
Landman.
Or
do you think Landman joins the Avengers?
Is he an oil spout? Is that his superpower? He sprays oil on people.
Next segment, I have to get my kids up.
Oh, go ahead. I got the starting 5 thing, so I'll be rambling here for the next. We go in 4 seconds. I'll be rambling for a while.
No. I'll wait till the break.
Welcome back to Miller and Mouton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
David with the day off. Seth Everett filled in today. Trent will be back for the rest of the week tomorrow, and then I'm expecting to have David back on Monday.
Right?
That is the plan.
I'll be tuning in. That's great.
So David out, obviously. He's had some health issues. He'll get into more detail when he gets back on Monday. That's his thing to do, not mine for him. Right now, however, it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
Well, after a 42-point second quarter, the Knicks looked to be in control. Home game, home crowd, but the Spurs said nothing doing. A great second half, outscoring the Knicks by 8 in the third. And then by the end, it was a 115-111 Spurs win. Victor Wembanyama, 32, 8, and 6. Stephon Castle finished with 23 as he and De'Aaron Fox both hit big shots in the fourth quarter for San Antonio. In the second half, the Spurs shot 16 more foul shots than the Knicks. Brunson, 32 for New York. OG Anunoby had 28. But Karl Anthony Towns, just 11 points for the game. He'd been the best player, in my opinion, in games 1 and 2. College football. Story that rocked the college football world yesterday. A judge's decision to rule Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby eligible had reactions throughout college football with doomsday predictions and informal chatter about the Big 12 schools attempting not to play the Red Raiders this season. Sorsby, who is the number 1 transfer in the offseason, acknowledged placing thousands of bets and wagering approximately $90,000 on college and professional sports over the past 4 years. During his time at Indiana and Cincinnati, that includes betting on his Indiana team while at Indiana in 2022. Sorsby will serve a 2-game suspension as a condition of the injunction, but otherwise has been cleared to play for Texas Tech, the defending Big 12 champions. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips told ESPN the ruling represents a horrendous pattern that is eroding the integrity of our process. Lots of big words. A Big 12 athletic director told ESPN that they are disgusted and added, "We have officially lost our soul." TCU coach Sonny Dykes, how is anyone ever going to trust the outcome of a game again? Georgia forbid the school from playing Texas Tech in anything. Nebraska AD Troy Dannon told ESPN that his teams are also not allowed to schedule Texas Tech. Florida Athletic Director Scott Strickland said he was stunned, brought up the Black Sox scandal. Texas Tech behind Sorsby. Their president a while back, in a letter to the Texas Tech community, said, "We believe his vulnerability deserves to be met with the full weight of the institution's support." And billionaire booster Cody Campbell said on Monday, "This is an unfortunate situation. It's the outcome of a broken system. I'm doing everything I can to fix it, but until there is a permanent solution, Texas Tech and its student athletes have to do the best they can to navigate and compete amidst the chaos that exists in the reality of the world we live in." To hockey we go. Game 4 tonight. Vegas leads the series 2-1, 8 p.m. on ABC. Carolina Hurricanes coach Rod Brind'Amour, well, he's picked a goalie for Game 4. Will it be Brendan Bussey, who stopped 18 of 19 in the double OT loss, relieving Frederik Andersen, or the guy who's played every other game? Brind'Amour said he's made a decision, but he's just not sharing it. It's going to be Andersen. Seth, it's got to be Andersen, right?
It's got to be. I mean, yeah, I can't imagine justifying anybody else. I mean, going with the backup goalie in Game 4 when you're down 2-1, no.
Other hockey news: the Detroit Red Wings captain Dylan Larkin, which we've talked about, requested a trade, but he listed the 3 teams that he wants to go to. I'll be damned. Vegas, Florida, or Minnesota. This could take a while between Yzerman and anybody he's dealing with, because he's under contract for quite a while.
Yep.
Edmonton's trying to hire a new coach. They wanted to interview Bruce Cassidy, the Vegas coach that was fired. Vegas won't let them. So now they're going to a guy who, well, has a little bit of a checkered past. Mike Babcock. He won a cup with the Wings in 08. He's 12th all-time in wins. But he was hired by the Blue Jackets in 2023. He never coached a game. He resigned after an NHLPA investigation into claims that he violated players' privacy when he asked to see photos on their cell phones. The NHLPA shared its findings with the NHL, which shared them with the Blue Jackets. Team president John Davidson said, "We got it wrong in hiring Babcock." Connor McDavid should love that. The Kings hired Pierre Laviolette as their new head coach. Peter Laviolette's coached nearly 1,600 games. He's been the head coach of the Capitals, the Flyers, the Islanders, the Hurricanes, the Predators, and now the LA Kings. At least they don't
Is there
recycle
any sport
coaches.
that has more retreads?
None. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts because I've known a lot of good minor league coach. And, Jared Bednar, who's coaching the Avs, and it looks like he's going to survive. I've not heard anything that they're going to fire him. He coached in the ECHL. Then he coached in the AHL. Got a job in Colorado. He's won them a cup. There are plenty of guys like Bednar that have worked their asses off. I mean, John Cooper coached junior hockey in the USHL, for crying out loud. He's regarded as the best coach in the NHL. But we're going to give Laviolette a sixth job? Makes no sense to me, Seth. Never has. Quickly to the NFL, Kansas City signing L'Jarius Sneed to a one-year deal, bringing the quarterback back with the team that drafted him in 2020. Tampa Bay 3-1 over Boston. Yandy Diaz hit a solo home run, had 2 RBI as the Rays ended their 2-game losing streak, beating Boston 3-1 Monday night. Diaz hit the first pitch of the game over the fence for his 12th home run of the season. He drove in Taylor Walls with a sac fly that extended the lead. The Rays bullpen had 5 scoreless innings in the win. 10 innings last night, but the Yanks beat Cleveland 7-5. Cody Bellinger, a tie-breaking.
There.
You what?
My friends were at that game. I was getting live texts from that game all night.
It lasted forever. It lasted forever. It went 10. Yep. Cody Bellinger, tie-breaking 2-run single in the 10th as the Yankees opened their series with the win against the Guardians. New York loaded the bases in the 10th before Bellinger put the Yanks in front. David Bednar got the game with the save. Seattle doubled up Baltimore 6-3. Josh Naylor, a 5th-inning grand slam. The Mariners held off late-inning threats by the Orioles to open a 4-game series. Randy Arozarena had 3 hits and drove in a run. Emerson Hancock worked 5 innings for the win. Philadelphia, behind a Garcia home run, 2-run shot, beat Toronto 5-2. Christopher Sanchez struck out 10 in 7 innings, and the Phillies with the win on the road. Duran, the save, his 16th of the season in 16 opportunities. Speaking of saves, well, I guess you got the win. Josh Hader gets the win in 10, coming back off the IL last week. He struck out the side in the 9th, and Brian Abreu pitched a scoreless 10th as Houston beats the Angels 5-4. Altuve with the game-winning run, scored on a tagging up on a shallow pop-up to center in the 10th. San Diego beat Cincinnati 6-2. Samad Taylor knocked in a career-high 3 runs. Freddie Fermin homered. The Padres came from behind to get the win over the Reds. The Reds are struggling of late. Washington 4-3 over the Giants. C.J. Abrams had a 2-run game-tying signal. Darren Lyle followed 2 batters later with a 2-out, 2-strike RBI single as the Nats rally to the 9th to overtake the Giants and win by a run. 3rd win in 4 games for the Nats. In what seems like a college baseball score, Milwaukee beat the Athletics 15-14 in 12. Kristen Yelich slid home on an infield grounder to give the Brewers the win. He was the automatic runner in the game played at Bell Telephone with opposite field out. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's how I played Little League when I grew up, or how I have neighborhood games, rather. He stole 3rd in the 12th. Each team scored 4 in the 10th. College World Series, Alabama and Oklahoma both qualified yesterday for Omaha. Their games were delayed on Sunday. They finished victories in games over St. John's and Kansas, respectively. Golf, the longest day in golf was yesterday. The U.S. Open qualifier, 10 sites across the U.S. and Canada. A bunch of players you've heard of didn't qualify. A bunch of players you've never heard of made it. One of them, top amateur, Miles Russell, was a qualifier. His caddy you may have heard of, Charlie Woods, son of Tiger, was on the bag. They're buddies. They both have the same representation. And Charlie Woods caddied for arguably the best amateur, the best young amateur, the best junior amateur out there. He's just 17. He's the kid that's getting him. Well, this Miles Russell kid is getting $1 million NIL to go to Florida State. No idea what Woods is getting NIL, but Russell, $1 million NIL to play college golf. And that, at 11 minutes before the hour, is the starting five. 5 big stories you needed to know here on Miller and Moulton. Light sports day yesterday, obviously, with a Monday of baseball, no hockey. Did just enough in the NBA to keep things going. The Spurs with the big win, but Sorsby, the big story of the day. And I just don't know. Seth, do you have any idea of how to fix this? If it can, like, I think the only thing you can do, and David and I have been on this for at least 3 years. When this whole thing started and we started paying college athletes and costs started rising at the rates they did, and now players are, the receiver there, Smith, for Ohio State's getting $5 million this year. Quarterbacks are getting $4 million across the board for these big schools. Arch Manning's probably getting $5 million. So with them getting paid and the numbers keep going up, so it's a race of whose boosters have the most cash. Schools are going broke. Seth, for a few years now, David and I said the only way to control costs is make these kids employees so you can collectively bargain and put a salary cap on there, a hard and fast cap. Do you have an alternative to that or a way to control the cost? Not even talking about how to control Sorsby, because I think the point you made that other kids are gambling is obviously factual. But I think we all agree that he shouldn't play. But Seth, I mean, the inmates are running the asylum right now. This is not
terrible.
Good.
This is this sport is, I know how much people love it and I want it to thrive. I don't know. The integrity is completely compromised. And for what? For what? What was the value in putting this guy eligible? I don't understand. I saw this, and you can't go backwards. So it's a fruitless effort to say, I miss college sports the way it used to be. I do too. I do too. I hate this, but I think this is going to fast track as much as you can the Super League that's coming in 2030. And I think it's going to have a totally different feel and vibe. And the only difference is, and I think you can take solace in, once they start playing games, people aren't going to care. I still support that, because the inequity that you're seeing in this landscape is so egregious that it takes the word student athlete and just tosses it out the window. And
there's no doubt there, and I don't know if that's been the case. Student athlete's been kind of a joke for a while, but Seth, I always agree with the point that once the game starts, it doesn't matter. And you're probably right again, with the exception of every time Texas Tech plays, because now we have Pete Rose playing games
for 300 yards. What are they going to say? The opposing coach is going to go, he shouldn't be there. No kidding.
No, but after every interview, how many, now that the world of journalism is vastly different than when you started, you've got fanboys who have credentials now. Make no mistake, with every blog that's out there and every podcast, people are getting credentialed who would never have been credentialed a decade ago. Texas Tech's on the road, and let's just play they're playing UCF, and some kid who's got a podcast, a student reporter, whatever the case may be. Did you bet on the game? Because they're going to ask it.
That's not going to happen. They're going to put this guy in a bubble. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is he's going to play, and they're going to just have to gamble. Gamble. They're going to have to defend against him, and he's just going to be a player, and they're not going to do that. It's just like when it's the same thing that when Mike Vrabel comes to New York to play the Jets, they're not asking him about Diana Rossini. They're not. It's just not going to happen.
Miller and Mouton. We'll be back. You can bet on it.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Mouton.
For whoever asked, my guy in the open qualifier was 3 over through 10 on his first 9, ended up shooting 1 under for his first 18, right in it, and then shot 77 on his second 18. But to me, it's not about that. He's 17. I didn't think he had much of a shot at qualifying. I just think it's just one of those great sports stories to me. His dad was his caddy. And that is something the two of them will have forever. I just think that's just great stuff. So happy for Taylor. He's such a nice man. And obviously, I would bet anything he raised a great young man. And the fact that he got to caddy for his son in a U.S. Open qualifier. I mean, not at some high school tournament, not at, for the U.S. Open. That's just 36 all day, dad and father and son together. That's great stuff to me.
The funny political humor from yesterday.
You're listening to Miller and Mouton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Mouton.
Miller and Mouton, hour number 2. Seth Everett sitting in for David Mouton today. The NBA Finals 2-1. Leigh Ellis will join us next hour to recap Game 3 and Wemby's terrific performance. Solid game. I mean, they've had 3 good games in a row. That's more than we had in the Western Conference. That's as many as we had in the 11 Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals games combined. Game 1 and 7 and the OKC San Antonio were both terrific games. Game 1 of the Knicks Cleveland, terrific game. The other ones were not. They were blowouts. We've had 3 really good games. The NBA has to be doing cartwheels, not only over the fact that the Knicks are leading the series 2-1, because I think that's far better for the NBA, but more importantly, they're getting competitive games. They're getting games that the audience doesn't want to leave. They averaged over 16 million for Game 1. They averaged around 19 million for Game 2. Seth and I both think the numbers will be even higher last night. So the NBA could not be drawing this up any better through 3 games.
Yeah, this is like what's his face, Manfred, when the Dodgers played the Yankees in the World Series. Like you love the matchup. The idea that it's a superstar on one team and then this juggernaut on the other team that hasn't been there in so long. I mean, the entire scope of the NBA has changed since the last time the Knicks were in the finals. You know, we've talked, you and I at least have talked in the past about how that sport is no longer a regional sport, that, you know, because of social media and because of everything that's evolved, if you grew up in New Jersey, for lack of a better phrase, you don't have to be a Knicks fan. You could be a Giannis fan or a Jokic fan or a LeBron fan, whatever your choice is, because of the access to these players. So the sport has changed. So it's not as territorial as it used to be. So what the NBA has is star power. And what they have is a very, very likable team in its New York Knicks team. And you have this superstar who seems to be magnetic. I mean, Wembanyama, everything the guy says and does is interesting. He's just an interesting dude to follow. So it's just a perfect storm. And the idea that they haven't been in the finals since '99, they haven't won a title in my lifetime. David was 3. I'm younger than you guys.
Right.
I've never seen the Knicks win the title. And the Knicks being in the finals reminds me of '94, which is when I was an intern for WFAN. I was the only Devils fan in the building, and they made me attend the Rangers parade just to punish me. And there's just this idea that the city is electric with this nonsense. It's very cool.
All right, on Wembanyama, just a little bit off of basketball. Did you see the photos, or are you aware of what he was doing? I believe it was on Sunday in town. He went to Gramercy Park and was sketching. He's sitting here's a 7'5" guy. I mean, first off, anybody 7'5" is recognizable. You're playing in the NBA finals against the Knicks, and you're in New York City, and he decides to walk over to the park with his sketch pad and pencil, and he's sketching a statue.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to go. But
No. That's what he was doing. I mean, there are pictures of him sitting on the park bench. And he's sketching. I mean, I just think I feel like
playing me and Julio down by the schoolyard.
That's an underrated Paul Simon song. I'm just going to say that right there. All right. I like Paul Simon. 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover is more fun to me, but I do like that song. Had a pretty
dude, man.
Right. Had a pretty interesting solo career for what it's worth. You just think Simon and Garfunkel, Paul Simon. I mean, Graceland. I mean, come on, pretty good solo career.
Call me out.
One of maybe the best video ever. Come on. The first time you saw that video when Chevy Chase lip syncs, tell me you didn't laugh.
Oh, it's cracked up.
So Wembanyama not only is a interesting guy, he's a unicorn of a player.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it right now, Seth. We are in interesting times in sports, and there's a lot of bad talk about, but sports has never been better. Here we are watching Ohtani, a modern day Babe Ruth, who in Babe Ruth pitched and then hit. Didn't do them simultaneously. We've got Ohtani going on with the Dodgers. That literally is a must-watch guy every night. Wembanyama is a 7'5" guy who can run the point. I mean, we are seeing things that if you just, take the rest of the crap aside, the Sorsby gambling and we are seeing things that are pretty impressive right now in the sports world.
It's a remarkable time. I mean, sports is become such the lifeblood of society. And
not just our society in this country. Like, you talked about all the people that were at the Arsenal parade. I mean, sports is never worldwide. And I think to your earlier point,
I thought that's what you were going to say. Wembanyama is a big PSG fan. I mean,
well, but you think about it. You don't have to love him, but you have to. Boy, you're something with your soccer. The PSG was favored. Stop it. Enough. This is like yesterday. I had Trent who couldn't let go of the LeBron's better than Michael thing.
Penalties. Stop.
Thank you. All right, but I mean, Seth, this is. I think
this shows people's age when they say that.
It does. This is the direct result of social media. There are a lot of negative things about social media. We could spend a whole show just talking about it, but I'll focus on the positive side of it. Without social media, sports is not what it is right now. There is no way the popularity of sports would be what it is without the impact of social media.
That's fair. It just used to be more of a community than it is now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it did. And that, which I think brings us right to what I think the biggest story of the day is. College football, there was nothing more localized, if you will.
Yeah.
Why college football is so big in the South and why it always will be is there were no pro sports down here. You didn't have any teams in the 50s and 60s. Then the Atlanta Braves come in and then finally a few NFL teams. But in Georgia, what did they have? The University of Georgia. Until the Dolphins, what did they have? The Gators, who weren't that good back then. But you know what I mean. Ole Miss, Alabama, these schools, that's it. And Texas, where football reigns supreme, and I know they have the Cowboys, but football is the biggest thing in the state of Texas. And now we have the Sorsby thing. And Seth, if this was the olden days and we weren't gambling online and sports was just regionalized, we may have never known that a quarterback from a school was betting with the bookie at the local bar. Now, because of everything being on your phone, guys are caught. And we're dealing with, because you right at the end of the segment, and I'm happy you went there. Because I think the grief, people are all worked up, and people in the chat room for months have been like, this isn't over with Vrabel. You have no idea what's going to happen when he's on the road. I don't think Vrabel cares. I don't think fans yelling at Vrabel when he's at a road game in Buffalo are going to affect Mike Vrabel.
Press conferences are so curated now. There's not going to be some outlier that's going to come up from some random podcast or blog and go, have you talked to Diana lately? No.
But the vitriol that's going to come at Sorsby in the stands, look, he can handle it. But this is going to be, because college football doesn't care the way, because there is no one person in charge, Seth. They're not going to let the music guy play It Wasn't Me when they introduce Mike Vrabel, if you know what I mean. Like, if a team does something that's off color and shows Diana Rossini on the Jumbotron board, they're going to get fined.
Yeah, that won't happen.
But you know what I mean. But
that will not happen.
Right. In college, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Colleges are in it for themselves.
When Sorsby comes out, you got to know when to hold.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. The bands will play it, Seth. I mean, put it this way, when all of the Big 12 ADs are having conference calls yesterday deciding whether or not they even want to play Texas Tech, do you think the university presidents are going to stop their students from and boosters and alumni from acting like horses' asses on road games for Texas Tech?
I can't even imagine. The media is not going to. I'm telling you, once September 5 happens, it's just going to be like any other college football story. The story will be, can Florida win this Saturday, or can Texas win this Saturday? Everything will become regionalized again, and everybody will care about this.
I don't know. One, because he's missing the first two games. So in your little world, and I disagree with you. Maybe you're right, but obviously he doesn't play until September 18th. It's a Friday night on Fox. Oh yeah, by the way, that's a nationally televised game for his first game back. That now makes it a story in and of itself. Their first road game, by the way, at Colorado. Their coach is a little polarizing. People like to talk about him. I mean, I don't know what.
A lot of jerseys.
I don't know what they'll have more of, the smell of weed in the stands at the Buffaloes game or them chanting against Sorsby. Oh, yeah, by the way, he goes back to Cincinnati, the school he transferred from, on October 24th. I mean, their road games will be interesting, to say the very least.
I still can't get over the fact that he is eligible. I was shocked. I was legit, and it's very rare that I am stunned when you read something. Like, a lot of times you hear stuff and you maybe a death is shocking, like that kind of thing, where it comes out of nowhere. This was stunning. I thought this story was over. I was ready to move on from this, and I couldn't believe that he's eligible now. I could not believe it.
Miller and Mouton
lost the appeal. I thought it was over.
It just proves now that you're going to, you can get a judge. You go back to Pavia, they got an injunction there so he could play a 6th year at Vanderbilt. Different circumstances, but you can get a judge. That seems to be, you can buy your way into college football. It's never been more apparent. And what I asked the audience, 21,000 Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, what is it, if anything, that can be done? What is your solution? I get that we can all be outraged and say he shouldn't play. I'm in agreement. He shouldn't play.
Right, but it's too late.
How do we fix it is really the question. What we've tried to do on this show for nearly 20 years is advance the story. Miller and Mouton are proponents of making these players employees. That way you can set rules that can be upheld. Because the one thing that we know for certain is that the NCAA has a horrible record when it comes to going to court. In fact, try to find me a time, the last time the NCAA's gone to court in one of these, and they've won. They lost again, and now Sorsby gets an injunction, and he gets to play.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Faro and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Faro and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Faro and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
RCB, he was the number one transfer this year in college football. I mean, he is good. Left Twix, it will stay in court, but by everything that I've read, and I'll get to this on the other side, is that they have to appeal, and it will take like 6 to 9 months for the appeal to be heard. Well, the season's over at that point. That's why they got this injunction. That's the whole, from a legality standpoint, that's why they wanted this injunction, because they know that gives him the season. And they don't, Texas Tech doesn't care once the season's done. Who cares? I mean, even let's just say it gets overruled in February. What does that matter? So they're going to take some wins away? You're waiting for food. You're not coming to see me.
I like when Amazon tells you they're going to send you something today.
They were supposed to send me something yesterday, and they didn't. I know. It's a big package. I kind of want to be at the door when they show up because I don't want to carry it. I want to give the guy an extra couple of bucks to hand cart it right to the back pool area. New fridge, Seth, for the outdoor kitchen area.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Not cheap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those things are basically a dorm-size fridge. Make it stainless steel and outdoor, and it's not cheap, Seth.
Yeah, in apartment living, we don't have that.
No. I'd love to live in an apartment. Save so much money. They should make the playoff, though, Dratharian. That's the thing. With him, most believe with him they're a playoff team.
Texas Tech?
Yes. I will say the moms were sunbathing at the community pool yesterday while I was getting my
There you
workout
go.
in. It is mom take the kids to the community pool time of year. We're a much older community, but it's getting younger. Few more families. Pool was a little busier than normal yesterday. But my favorite treadmill was out of service, the one where I get the view of the whole pool.
Oh, there you go.
Had to go to one where I only could see one side. Seth, there's nothing better. We've only got like 40 seconds, but there's nothing better than during season, like, the winter season when all the old people are down here. They do a couple of mornings a week. They do water aerobics. Nothing makes me laugh harder while I'm on the treadmill than watching the old ladies do water aerobics. I mean, I literally I'm doing play-by-play in my head to get through my 30 minutes walking. I just laugh nonstop.
Yeah, our pool view is a little different.
Left Twix, yes. There's a mom I have my eye on. It's called my wife.
Bazing.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Mouton talking college football in June. That should make everybody happy, but the story has a few of you upset, and rightly so. Brendan Sorsby got a judge to give him an injunction yesterday. He suspended Sorsby for 2 games in the injunction, but is allowing him to play. The 2 games that he is not playing, Abilene Christian and at Oregon State, who's in the new formed Pac-12, but come on, that's not even a conference, and they're terrible. Just to give you a quick rundown of the Texas Tech schedule. After those 2 games, they will host Houston. That's a nationally televised game. That's probably, I would argue, that could be their toughest opponent all year, because the Big 12's not great, and they're not, I guess Arizona State's their toughest game. So if they beat Arizona State, they're probably a playoff team. They play Houston at home. Then that tough game was Sam Houston. Then at Colorado, they're 5-0 heading to a bye. Then they play Arizona State and at Cincinnati, back-to-back. That is their toughest stretch of the season. Home for Arizona, home for West Virginia, at Oklahoma State, at Baylor, TCU. TCU, right now, I believe, has a preseason ranking, so that could be a tough game. But again, I bring this up because you heard that schedule. They don't play Utah. They only have to play Arizona State. They get them at home. Utah, BYU, along with Texas Tech, are the 3 best teams in that conference. They don't play 2 of them. So the odds of them going to the Big 12 championship game with this kid at quarterback, and this was before any of this started, they were expected to represent the Big 12 in the championship game. That's why they went and got Sorsby and paid him a few $1 million to be their quarterback. Now they got the injunction. He's going to play.
Forgive me for not knowing the answer to this, but was there any rumblings about him when they transferred for him?
No, this came
not
out
a thing,
after.
right?
No, this came out after.
I don't understand how
and obviously, Seth, they must have known, because not only did we find out? We found out from Sorsby and from Texas Tech, essentially, because he checked himself into rehab. This, Seth, this reminds me, and this is a little backwards, bear with me here, because we didn't hear about this until way after, but this reminds me, like in retrospect, of Sports Illustrated, when it was still a real magazine, was about to do an expose uncovering all of the gambling problems of one Phil Mickelson. Callaway, who Phil changed over to Callaway Clubs, spent a boatload of money with SI to make the story disappear. These are facts. They're indisputable facts.
Right. That's been documented.
Right. So this to me is they knew someone was about to put the story out that he was gambling, and he checked himself into rehab. Like somehow that, because the story hadn't popped, Seth, and all of this, I mean, why else? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a little bit of a hypocrite or a little bit, my snarkiness is coming through. You really think that Brandon Sorsby said, Texas Tech, I got to admit, I appreciate the $2 million that you gave me, or $3 million or whatever it is. He's getting sued by Cincinnati because they want their NIL money back because he apparently signed a 2-year deal with them. So they have filed $1 million lawsuit against this kid.
But that was before anything was revealed?
Right. He's going to Texas Tech. The lawsuit's out there, and he voluntarily checks himself into rehab for gambling. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it. The story was about to pop, Seth. Right? I mean, come on.
That's crazy.
So the story pops, or he checks himself into rehab. The NCAA rules him ineligible. He files a suit to go to court, wanted the matter handled quickly because the supplemental draft is later this month. They wanted it handled by June 15th. The judge says June 1st. Then the judge recuses himself because he's a Texas Tech alum.
I was on that day.
Yeah. Then they get the new judge. He hears the case. A week later, the injunction works. So
stunning.
I asked our audience, give me solutions. And I didn't really get any, but I got this. 100% the judge is paid off. College football is equal to FIFA. I think that's for you, Seth. When I asked what they should do, someone says have morals and uphold the rules. The NCAA is a joke. No backbone. They should challenge the judge's decision, but they won't. As I always say, hypocrisy. As long as my team has a gambler or a rapist, I don't know where we threw that in, it's okay. Your team just can't have them. But here's the thing, guys. This is what we've tried to tell you for a while. First off, in this particular case, look, the NCAA is a joke. I agree with you on that premise. The backbone part, it's tough to actually agree with that because here's the problem with this injunction. By everything I read yesterday, and trust me, I read every damn article I could, the NCAA is going to try to appeal this. The odds are it won't be heard for 6 to 9 months. That's our judicial system. That's normal. Now, if they could get someone to expedite this more quickly, that would be great. Maybe this is where, the president has tried to step in and fix college sports. Commissioners now are saying this is why we need Congress to do something. I don't know what the president, I don't know what Congress can do to expedite a hearing, but I mean, they could, but it's real. Do they really care at the end of the day? They
all
grandstand.
4 appeals judges are Texas Tech grads.
That's right. Yes. Would any of them show integrity? You'd like to think so, but But you have to be realistic and say probably not. But again, if this is going to be, in fact, I think it was already appealed by the NCAA. They don't hear it tomorrow. They don't hear it next week. The odds are they won't hear it until the season's over.
The trial date is temporarily set for February of 27.
Yeah, okay. So as much as I want to pile on the NCAA with you, I don't know. They've now had their hands tied. It's not that they don't have a backbone. They don't have a leg to stand on in any of this. And every time they go to court, they lose.
Yeah.
They went to the Supreme. And this all goes back to what was was it O'Bannon against the NCAA all those years ago for the money he wanted to be on the cover of one of the games? I mean, this goes back decades. And the NCAA stuck their head in the sand and said, we'll win. We'll keep our amateur status. Guys will never get paid. They could have fixed this years ago. They chose to ignore it. And it went to the Supreme Court where they still thought they'd win. And go look up the millions upon millions of dollars that the NCAA has spent on lobbyists over the years to try to keep their amateur status. It went to a Supreme Court that doesn't agree on anything. In modern day political society, we have a world where one side thinks one way and one side thinks the other. And the decisions in the Supreme Court usually fall in line exactly with that thinking. When this case went to the Supreme Court, it was unanimous. Come on. This isn't even a political statement, but how can you not, if you don't pay attention to politics at all? Our Supreme Court doesn't vote unanimously on anything. And this goes to the Supreme Court when it came to paying the players, and they were unanimous. And the judge that wrote the decision, Kavanaugh, didn't think that was enough. He wrote a second one basically saying, and another thing.
They wouldn't even hear this. It's not going to that level. This isn't going to go past that appeals court with the 4 Texas Tech dudes.
So to me, without a commissioner, which they don't have, they have conferences ruling independently of one another. And as Seth said, next decade, we're probably going to have a super conference. Yeah. Whether Sankey says we're not, I don't believe him. That's inevitably where we're going to go. How does your school fall into the mix? Not sure. Mine's going to be one of the bad teams in the super conference.
We're going to be in the riffraff.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So Seth, it was hard for me to do in that text that I sent you about your email, but apparently she's having some sort. And I don't know if that's something your daughter that rides wants to get into, but she's having like these summer clinics where they'll have them on the treadmill, more about like horse. I don't know, health or equine. But he said if it's something, she's like, if it's something she wants to get into, they're really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna email. She just left for school.
They're not out of school yet?
No, next week.
Oh
Next
my
week is
gosh.
graduation.
Wow.
It is so much of my ex. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. I can imagine. Trust me. I've been there. I've been there for that part of it.
I just like want it to be over.
I know, and you got 4 more years of it.
Well, I was just thinking next week is just going to be like
Yes, it will.
ceremonies and the sitting and the waiting and
And then are you having a graduation party for your
not a
daughter?
party. We're doing like lunches and dinners and
Gotcha. I don't know if the graduation party is more of a Midwestern thing. They're pretty
well,
big.
they have them here. It just we're not.
Right. They were pretty big affairs when I grew up. Like graduation parties were a big deal.
Ugh. I told my neighbor, I said, if I need to bring a date to any of these things, I said, you're my designated beard.
That's funny.
We did pot gummies on Saturday during the hockey game.
What? You did what? You went to.
We did pot gummies Saturday night.
Okay, I did not.
During Game 3 of the Cup Finals.
Attaboy.
We had a blast. We finished off a bottle of rosé, and she left like 90 seconds before my kid got home. My kid sees all the bottles and all the stuff all over the place. She goes, "How long was I gone?"
That's funny.
That was Saturday. That was funny.
June 17th, Paula? Holy cow.
Yeah, that's our last day. Yeah, June 18th.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. Maddie's been out for a month.
No,
I mean, by the time that ends, I mean, she's been out for a while.
I mean, they've mailed it in. They're not doing anything, but
Right. Well, they start, I think, a lot earlier here, too.
yeah,
They figured that out, which
they start after Labor Day here.
yeah.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Mouton, Seth Everett filling in today. David should be back on Monday. Trent Valley will do the rest of the week. I know he's texting. He's not ready to do the show yet, but I hear about pitch counts and goalie changes. That's what I get from him.
Good, man. That's all I want is him back.
Absolutely.
The world is not in alignment without him doing this show.
You know, Seth, this is the part of this whole, there's a few things about this Sorsby thing that really bother me. One is, have we gotten to a point, and maybe this is something I shouldn't do on a sports show, but from a societal standpoint, are we ever going to be held accountable for anything anymore? I mean, this guy gambled, and then he goes to rehab and 35 days of inpatient therapy for a gambling addiction. Apparently he's cured. And Seth, help me here, because I've never been really around, I guess, fixed addiction. I've been around functional alcoholics a lot in my life, but no one that's really gone to rehab. And I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just being honest with my upbringing.
Yeah.
I had, when I was a kid, I had a great uncle who was an alcoholic, and we all knew that Uncle Jack was an alcoholic. But rehab wasn't a thing that really happened in the early 70s. And this is something I remember as a very young child. So I understand that addiction's a problem. I get it.
I can see why people get addicted. I mean, stuff's fun.
Right.
From what I hear.
Like I would say, and I've always said, I think I have a gambling addiction. I'm with you, Seth. I've had a lot of fun. I've done a lot of things I probably shouldn't have. I have been able to, one, because of what's going on health-wise for me. I love alcohol. I'll be the first one to admit I like wine. I like liquor. I like beer. I like having a good dozen beers over the course
usually
of the
during
day
the
when I play
starting
golf.
five.
Right. I haven't had a drink since December. It was pretty easy for me. Let's see. Die or quit drinking. It was a really simple choice.
Did the doctor just say no, not a drop ever?
Not a drop. For at least now a year. Like February 6th was my transplant day. After a year, I might be lucky enough to have a glass of wine occasionally. We'll see. If I can, great. If I can't, so be it. But gambling, I got caught. I lost far more money than I had. I had to do things I never thought I would have to do. I had to, one, ask my dad for some cash, and I was an adult, and I had to go to a buddy. And I called him, and I said, I need to talk to you. He's like, what's up? I go, I'll come see you. And I walked into his office, and he looked at me, and he went, how much? First words, he knew exactly what it was when I wouldn't say it on the phone. And he goes, hey. And I had to pay him a vig. He goes, I'll give you this. He goes, when are you going to pay me back? And I said, by such and such date. And he said, okay, you owe me this on such and such date. That's the rules. You know this. And I went, yep. And he said, don't ruin a friendship by not paying me. And I paid him way quicker than the tie. It took me a couple months. I think I asked for 3. I think 2 months later, I walked in, handed him the cash. So I've never made a big bet since then. I have the Hard Rock app. I joke around. I bet like Trent. A big bet for me is now $20. And I was betting $500 on halves of basketball games because I was chasing. I won't ever do that again. As I've said on this show, I love my wife and my daughter far more than I love gambling. And if I were to gamble like that, I'm pretty certain that my wife would leave me. So it was an easy decision for me. I didn't need to go to a 35-day inpatient rehab. I rectified the situation because I lost a boatload of money. And I'm like, I learned personally that the juice from winning, the high from winning a bet was not nearly as high as the agony of losing a bet was for me. I know a lot of people that can't watch a game without having some action on it. And God bless them. Good for them. I've never been bothered by other people's vices.
What drives me crazy is when my students, when I teach these courses and my students all do it, and I know it's not with their money.
Right. It's mom and dad are filling the account. So that being said, on my personal dilemmas and demons with gambling and alcohol, I've never gone to rehab, never felt that I've needed to, been able to cure myself. That being said, I understand that some people cannot. I get it. I understand the dynamics.
You have a perspective, sure.
But to think for a minute here, does anybody believe if Brendan Sorsby is actually addicted to gambling, and by and large, by making the thousands of bets on all of the things from the hot dog eating contest to college football and every damn thing in between, he may have a bit of a problem? Do you think he got cured in 35 days? Because anybody that I know that's a drug addict or an alcoholic, and I don't know anything about gambling addictions. Like, I remember, the sex addict. Tiger was a sex addict, and David Duchovny, who was in Californication, and
I love that show.
It was a great. The opening scene of that show, by the way, quick tangent, might be the best open of any show I've ever seen. So, but David Duchovny, who was a show where he had sex all the time, kind of went real life with that, and then got caught, and he had an addiction for sex. Did you have an addiction or did you get caught by your wife?
Right.
Did Sorsby have an addiction or did he just get caught? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, people that are addicts, that are true addicts, say every day's a battle. Every day is a day where you don't drink or you don't do drugs. And it's always there and it's hard. And I give all the sympathy in the world to people like that. If that's the case with Sorsby, why would you allow him to play a sport where he could manipulate the outcome and do what on it? Gamble. How are his lawyers, his parents, his friends, that institution helping this young man get over his addiction? They've argued that you're going to cause him irreparable harm by not letting him play college football. I could argue the complete opposite, Seth.
What's his academic status?
He's been to 3 colleges. Does it even matter? I mean, no one. No. He's not a student athlete. He's an athlete. These are hired guns. Seth, it's a great point. When you transfer at a true school, when you transfer from school A to school B, they rip you of so many credits.
Yeah.
So to think that he's recovered from his gambling addiction in 2 months is one of the most laughable things you could ever say out loud. I mean, it actually, now looking back upon it, I probably should have tried to get someone who worked with addicts on the show. Because to me, and you know what? This is Cheers, because Ted Danson's character there, he couldn't drink anymore and he was a bartender. Never seemed to make a lot of sense to a lot of us.
Right.
So this kid's a gambling addict. So let him be. What's the position in football where you could control a game more than any other? I think it's quarterback. So let's let the gambling addict go back and play quarterback. That seems to be the cure-all for his gambling addiction. I mean, this is ridiculous. So
it just seems like the ruling made it like he's entitled to do this, where the reality of it is it should be a gift.
100%, Seth. And look, at 2 things can be true here. This is the part that this judge and the lawyers and everybody else haven't been able to wrap their heads around. Let's just say, for sake of argument, that he's addicted to gambling. Okay. It's a and we are going to say that gambling addiction is a mental health problem. Doesn't mean he should be allowed to play college football. I mean, this is the whole, it's a right, not a privilege. And he lost that right when he gambled on the sport. This bothers me more than I thought it would, because I've gotten pretty numb having done this for nearly 20 years on air. I remember a long time ago when David would get shocked by something. And I remember the one that sticks in my craw is that David was convinced Manny Ramirez was clean. And I'd say it if he was here. I'll probably bring it up next week when he's back. When Manny Ramirez got caught with steroids, David was like, really, him? I didn't think he was doing it. And I'm like, and it shocked him. And I'm like, I was, at that point, I was numb to steroids. So
when he pushed that guy into the ground in Houston, the traveling secretary.
Ooh, I like that. So I'm very rarely shocked by something. And I'm not shocked by this. I'm more disgusted by it. I'm disgusted that this is what we've come to. Is that, I guess, if you have enough money and you get the right lawyers, they can argue any case in your favor. And Sorsby winning this case, this isn't about him winning this. This is about a judge giving him this injunction so he's eligible for one more season. That's all this is about.
Right, while the case is being heard.
Right. Who cares what happens in February of 2027?
Doesn't matter.
He doesn't have any more eligibility, Seth.
Right, he won't care. He'll be working for the CW.
And, here's the part of this the other part of this. Let's just say, for sake of argument, Sorsby leads them to an undefeated season or whatever the case may be, and they go to the college football playoff and he plays really well. You know what his punishment's going to be for gambling when this whole case is heard in February and it turns out that he wasn't eligible? He's going to go play in the NFL.
Uh-oh. I thought my line was better, though.
What did you say?
Like to give the wins back?
Yeah, they will. Oh, I'm sure.
Jim Boeheim is 63 wins back.
By the way, some of the things that were pointed out yesterday in the hypocrisy of college athletics. Rick Neuheisel was fired as a college football coach.
My old pal.
For filling out and participating in a March Madness bracket.
Yep.
I mean, but this is college, so this isn't necessarily apples to apples, but it's much closer than Tony Romo nearly being thrown out of the sport for participating in a fantasy football summit in Vegas.
I have a great Rick Neuheisel story.
Go. We got about 3 minutes.
So when he was the coach at Colorado, I got sent to cover his recruiting day, like the National Signing Day. And they moved the press conference from like 3 p.m. to like 9 a.m. And I had gone out the night before. I was 24 at this point. I had gone out and he starts talking about these kids and he was in this guy's kitchen and signing this dude and this dude and this dude and this dude. And I fell asleep. So fast forward, he leaves Colorado and he gets hired at the University of Washington. And I'm on the air in Seattle. And everything that had been talked about Rick Neuheisel was that he's like a used car salesman, like a phony baloney. And so I'm on the air when Rick Neuheisel gets hired. He lands at the airport and hears me talking about how he's a used car salesman. He comes to the press conference and he sees me there. This is 4 years later. And he says, "Going to stay awake this time?"
Good for him. Plays the guitar pretty well too, by the way.
Rick Neuheisel will not be on Sports with Friends.
No, he's on the banned list of Sports with Friends, or he wouldn't answer the call.
He would not take my call. We're not going to revisit that story.
I like that story. If I ever get him, I'll ask him, has anybody ever fallen asleep in a press conference years before?
During a Rick Neuheisel press conference.
Miller and Moulton, the 8 o'clock hour ahead. We will get more into the Sorsby story. Matt Baker will join us at 8 o'clock, covers college football for The Athletic, does a terrific job. He's been on the show for years. In fact, now that I did send him the link. We've got Leigh Ellis to talk the NBA Finals at the bottom of the hour, and then Andrew Bradt will join us in the Pro Hour at 9 a.m. Also, we'll talk some Sorsby. He wrote a book, want to get into that. His thoughts on a lot of things. He's very wise with the business of sports, whether it's the baseball negotiations, whether it's this college football thing, contracts. I've always said when we have Andrew Bradt on, we get a little smarter for having him on the show. So that's all ahead. Miller and Moulton would love to get your thoughts on this Sorsby thing. The Pelican Roofing of Florida text line is open. 21,000 is the number. If you've never texted the show before, you need to text the keyword Miller to 21,000 and then let it rip. Would love to hear your thoughts on Sorsby, the NCAA, and how do we fix this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. If you have a better idea than what Miller and Moulton have had, which is make them employees, I'd love to know what it is. Miss any of the show, millerandmoulton.com or all the usual suspects where you download your podcast. Matt Baker to talk college football next. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live. Full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Great Matt Baker.
That's crazy. Yeah, he's coming on.
Yeah. So when the guy Kevin got hired and we had our first meeting, he asked what else I do besides teach at Montclair, and I told him about Sports with Friends, and he says, you should put on my brother-in-law. I went, all right, who's your brother? Like, I would have done it no matter what, and it's Matt
Right.
Baker.
Have you had him on yet?
Matt Baker, the college football writer? Yeah. So I had him on. Yeah, we did it probably last year.
Okay.
Great dude. And his brother-in-law is also a really good dude.
In fact, I will just shoot him a quick text to make sure he got the link. Had Doc Emmerich on yesterday, Seth.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a guy I got to get on.
I'll be a kind fellow and share the contact with you.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Oh my God, I love him. Twice a New Jersey Devils announcer.
Yep. He is when I was in the ECHL, and I think I just got down here to Florida, and I was still doing play-by-play, he spoke at our league meeting, and he was the last speaker of the day on the track for the communications people, because there was different things for tickets and marketing and all that stuff. So, and I was the head of marketing, so I was in both. I would go to whatever one I felt was most important. But I'm like, Doc Emmerich was the last one of the day, hour 4 to 4:40 or something like that. And he sits down in that voice and he's like, my flight's at 6:40 out of Lauderdale. It's only 10 minutes away. So, and this is pre 9/11. He's like, figure I got to be there by 6. So you got me until 6. Like he goes, if you guys want to leave at 4:40, you're more than welcome. Because I know you're not all broadcasters, but if anybody wants to stay, stay. And we sat and hung out with him and just BS till 6 o'clock. He gave us every bit of all of his notes of how he does his prep. He had a printout for everybody in the room, went through all of that stuff. He was just awesome. And he told, he told a great story that made you reminded you that you should always be on your game broadcast. And he said, who's the broadcaster for the South Carolina team? And it was a buddy of mine, Darren Abbott. And Darren raised his hand. He goes, you do a good job, young man. And Abbott's just, he couldn't be. He says, my daughter lives near Charleston and I flew into town on such and such date. And you know me, I always go to AM radio and I flip the dial and happen to listen to a period of the game you did. You do a fine job, young man. And it's like, just want to remind you all, you never know who's listening.
That's crazy. That's amazing.
Morning, Matt.
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing great. I did not realize that Seth, who's filling in for David today.
Hey, Seth, how are you?
And Seth has to be nice to you because he works for your brother-in-law.
This is true. This is very important.
Very important. He's in Europe.
He is. He gallivants around Europe this time of year.
Yep.
So when he sends the Wordles to the group text, he's Wordling tomorrow's Wordle at like 5 in the afternoon or something.
Like he's in the future.
Here we
Yes,
go.
exactly.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour number 3, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. We will continue on with the Brendan Sorsby case with Matt Baker. Matt Baker, fine college football writer, reports for The Athletic. Used to work with the Tampa Bay Times, been on the show a million times. You can follow Matt on X at Matt Baker CFB, Matt Baker CFB. Matt, Mark, and Seth this morning. Good morning, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's our pleasure, obviously. We have spent, I wanted to get ready for game 4 of the hockey playoffs. I wanted to get ready to talk about game 3 last night and Wemby's great performance, but I can't because this Sorsby thing to me is the biggest story of the day. And I think it's going to be the story of the summer and it's going to carry long into the college football season. He was granted the injunction yesterday. He's now going to be allowed to play. And as many have written, and I don't know if you have the same thoughts, eligibility, whenever this case is finally heard in February, yesterday wasn't about winning. Yesterday was about being able to play this year and finish out your eligibility. Matt, I'm going to start with what, if anything, can be done for this year regarding Sorsby?
In terms of him not playing?
Yes.
So there's a couple options. One is this is going to go through the appeals process. The NCAA has already appealed. In this type of case, it's possible that the courts in Texas say this is really important. We're talking about millions of dollars at stake for Sorsby and the university and the Big 12 as a whole. We're going to fast track this. We're going to get this to the finish line as soon as we can. So in theory, that could be done before the actual season. The other one that I find very interesting is I think the Big 12 could do something. So I say think because if you read the 4-page legal document, the order by the judge yesterday, it says the NCAA cannot stop Sorsby from playing. And the NCAA cannot punish the school or Texas Tech or Sorsby for him playing. It doesn't say that the Big 12 cannot do so. So I think of it almost like federal, state, and local laws, right? Where the federal law here is the NCAA. They can't do anything at this point unless an appellate judge overrules it. But what about the state law? What about the Big 12? Could they determine that he violated, this is an example, like a sportsmanship clause? So that is an unanswered question to me. I think they can. The question is, do they want to? And they will. And if so, what are the rules there? And the final thing is if Texas Tech really wanted to, they could draw a line and say, you know what? what you did isn't cool. Like this is actually could be a legal case. We don't think this is something that would represent our university well, and we're not gonna play you. So those are the kind of buckets. We'll see what happens with the appeals process and if the Big 12 decides to do anything. Those are the big two here.
Do you think that they are reading social media? Do you think that they are reading what the fans want, what the boosters want? Do you think that the Texas Tech is on Sorsby's side, or do you think that Texas Tech wants to figure out a way to not have this controversy starting week 1? Or is it, screw it, we want this quarterback?
I think Texas Tech is on Texas Tech's side, as they should be. I mean, look, right now, everybody uses the whole wild, wild west, but that's kind of what it is. This is an every man for himself situation. And there's a bunch of reasons why, from that's what college sports has always been, to we're all headed toward a potential big bang and realignment in the next couple of years. The Super League, I got to get mine to get to this finish line the best that I can. So do I think Texas Tech cares? No, not really. Nor do I think that they should. That their job as an athletic department, the Red Raiders, their job is to win football games. And the whole idea of morality and ethics and that type of thing, that went by the wayside a long time ago. So I think Texas Tech is quite fine to wear the black hat here, as long as that means winning another Big 12 title and going to the playoff and maybe winning a game or two.
Matt, and I may have missed this, and if so, shame on me. This whole story, I mean, for someone who has made as many bets as he apparently did, 9,000 plus bets, tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars gambled over the course of a few years, going back to when he was at Indiana. We never heard anything about this. There weren't any no offense to you guys, that you didn't do a story on it. Nobody else had a story on it. Then he checks himself into rehab and says, I have a gambling addiction. My theory is that somebody at The Athletic, somebody at Yahoo, somebody somewhere had this story and it was about to come out, and he went to his rehab. Is there any there with what I'm saying? Was this story about to pop, and did he and Texas Tech try to get out in front of it?
I'm not entirely sure on the timeline, but I think broadly speaking, you're correct. And I don't think it was a matter of the Athletic or ESPN or Yahoo sniffing around it. I think it was a matter of there were people of importance here, be they casino gambling types, be they NCAA, where it was moving in that direction when Sorsby went to seek help. That's my understanding of the timeline. I don't think your read there is wrong, but I also do think it's important to be sympathetic to the other side here, where gambling addiction is a real thing. There are real mental health things. I just want to make it clear, I don't want to minimize that as we're talking about this, because this is a complicated case, and it's also a simple case at the same time.
The idea, though, that you have this guy who's fighting for this eligibility, and he gets it. How much do you think, let's just play this out and say that he plays, how much does this story permeate every week for Texas Tech, as opposed to most college football stories, realignment and, television rights and all that once you kick off the first game, everybody forgets. Is this gonna stay with Texas Tech? And is it do you see it being a positive or a negative?
Well, I see it as a positive for Texas Tech in that he's a really, really good quarterback who will help them win football games. And quarterbacking was one of the kind of weak links last year. They weren't bad at the position. They just weren't good or really good or great. And Sorsby certainly has really great or really good ceiling.
Now he has to win the Heisman.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. Not saying he will, but that's in the cards. In terms of the kind of backlash, it's going to be a season-long thing. And that's why gambling is the red line here. Because if he goes out and throws a boneheaded interception, the kind of boneheaded interception we have all seen college quarterbacks make because they're 19 or 22 or whatever it is, and they make mistakes. If he reads the defense wrong, throws a boneheaded interception, if any single part of you listening thinks, I wonder if he did that to throw the game, I wonder if he did that because he had a bet on it, then the whole thing is shot. Like, I'm not being hyperbolic here. That's why this is the line in the sand. So that's why it's going to overshadow things. And certainly I've been, the Jameis Winston case comes to mind, where it's this thing that's hanging over an entire season or two seasons. So we've seen that in college sports. I do think that's what's going to happen here. If he's able to play, this isn't like okay, well, game on. No, this is going to be in the background the entire time.
And Matt, I tried the last segment to be as sympathetic to the mental health part of this as possible and laid out my own problems because I think I have a problem gambling. I stop myself. I make $5, $20 bets now. I don't bet like I used to because I lost a bunch of money. But 35 days of an inpatient rehab, if we're worried about his mental health, someone's got to explain to me how a addict in gambling gets put in a position where the easiest spot to fix a college football game from would be the quarterback. How is this helping his mental health and his gambling addiction by putting him in the spot to play quarterback? That seems detrimental to his mental health, Matt.
I don't know that I have a great rebuttal. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I don't know that I do because your point is well taken. I guess the whole thing is, if you read the order, part of it from the Sorsby side is this isn't like, okay, you're out of your therapy for those 35 days or whatever. Now it's done. No, there's more to it than that. There's going to have to be regular check-in, Gamblers Anonymous or something like that. So there are kind of steps in place and protocols in place to hopefully keep him progressing and on the right side. But yeah, your point is that's the whole fear here, right? Is he could be in a position to throw a game. Not that he would, not that we have any evidence of him trying to do that in the past, but that is the fear there. And yeah, I think that's a fair point.
How prominent do you think this is in college football? How many Sorsbys are there that we just don't know about?
I certainly think there's some. I don't think it's super prevalent, but that's one of the fears that I would have with this case. Just as, look, I don't care who wins.
5, 10?
I would guess it's more than that. More than 5 or 10 across the sport. And they might not all be, again, star quarterbacks making millions of dollars. It could be your backup left guard, like that type of thing. But the fear that I would have is...
I've always thought it was the left guard.
Yeah, of course, everybody knows that. But if you think about it, this was one judge in one court making one ruling regarding one case. But there are people who are going to look at this as there are no rules now. I can do this. Right. And that's one of the fears that I have is it's a slippery slope and more people will think this is okay, even though the rules are still in place. It worked for this guy, but a different judge on a different day with the same set of facts might have ruled differently. So yes, I think it happens. I think it is becoming more prevalent, but I don't think it's like an epidemic at the college football level in the locker room.
Final question. You brought up at the beginning the Big 12 could do something. It certainly seems yesterday when the Big 12 coaches and ADs are talking about boycotting Texas Tech that it would be the coaches and the athletic directors and perhaps even university presidents of other Big 12 teams that are going to put the pressure on Commissioner Bradt to do something. If that's the case, just if you were to let's pick some odds on it, Matt, but scale of 1 to 10, how high is it that the Big 12 Commissioner Yormark steps in and does something to this quarterback?
I'm not great with betting. If I had to put it between 0 is nothing happens, 10 something's definitely happened, I'd say about a 6 because there's a lot of pressure here. This isn't like if we go back to like the Trinidad Chambliss case at Ole Miss, where, okay, maybe I read the documents differently, you view them in one way. We're talking about paperwork and tonsil issues. Like, okay, there's some gray area. This is a black and white rule. And as far as I can tell, it's been pretty darn unanimous in the sport. This is not cool. And I don't know that can stand, especially that internal pressure. So, but the other part of it is, what can Yormark do? What can the Big 12 do? And do they really want to go after their high-profile team and one of the most recognizable people in the conference? So that's the push and pull here. I think they're going to be pressured to do something. I just don't know what that something is yet.
He's Matt Baker, national reporter for The Athletic on college football. Follow him on X, Matt Baker CFB, Matt Baker CFB. Always great stuff. Matt, great insight, great stuff. Really appreciate it. Thanks for doing this for us.
All right, thanks, guys.
Matt Baker from The Athletic here on Miller and Mouton.
He was better on Sports with Friends. No, just kidding.
It is a fascinating story, and what he brought up we had not yet talked about. Will the Big 12 step in and do something based on how the case was written. He thinks they may. Miller and Mouton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Dratharian, I think they're the same. I mean, winning does appease the NIL donors. Remember, the Texas Tech athletic department is run by one donor, Cody Campbell. He's the billionaire that's giving them all the money. He bought the pitcher for the softball team. He's the one essentially paying for all of this. And he's all for it. His statements yesterday backed that up. And Javier, if it were that easy, they'd have a quarterback. I mean, they went out and spent money to get the best guy in the transfer portal. And if we'll see if Arch can throw a rock this year, speaking of Texas quarterbacks. But I had fun with Emmerich because as a he started out because both Trent and I went to Michigan State. He began by singing Michigan State's fight song, which was just hysterical. And I sent him a text last night. I forgot to do it after the show, thanking him. And he started broadcasting the Port Huron Flags in the IHL. Well, my hometown of Saginaw had a team in that same league at the time. And this was right out of slap. This league was basically slap shot. I mean, it was lots of fights, lots of famous tough guys. And I of course, I didn't do it on air, but I sent a couple names to him. I said, I could have gone Gary Risling and Archie Henderson, but I might have lost most of our audience. And he responded this morning. It's always fun when your phone gets a text and you look at the name and it's Mike Emmerich. It's like, that's pretty.
That's wild. What an icon.
Oh. And, and funny, ironically enough, Trent said it on here. When Trent was at Michigan State, he came and spoke to one of the journalism classes there. And right away, he says, Mike, I know you probably don't remember it, but you came and spoke to a class at Michigan State. And Emmerich went, oh, that had to be the professor. He's like, it had to be so-and-so's class. Okay.
Of course it did.
And it was, he's like, absolutely. He's like, so, I mean, that's just, he's a wonderful person. He really is. I was telling him, because he's doing this Stanley Pup thing, kind of like the Puppy Bowl, where every dog has a team trying to get dogs adopted. And I let it, because he mentioned, I said, go ahead. I told him before we went on air, I said, I can't not let you do it. I said, my wife's a veterinarian. And he tells me, he goes, you've heard of Jet's Pizza? I said, yeah, we've got them down here. He goes, yep, every Monday, that surgery day at my vet's office, I send over Jet's Pizza to the office. So they've always got something to eat. He goes, I know Monday's a busy day there. I'm like, that's just a good dude right there.
Yeah, that's great.
And he still lives up basically, in Michigan, in kind of northern suburban Detroit, away from everybody, probably closer to Port Huron, which is a little stinky town.
Must be a great life.
It really must.
That's what we were talking about the other day. We were talking.
Welcome back to Miller and Mouton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
David off until Monday. Seth Everett sitting in today. Trent Valley will be with us the rest of the week. Seth's a guest on the show tomorrow, although I'm going to let him off the hook if he wants out. He's given us, 4 hours last Tuesday, 4 hours today. He did his Wednesday spot last week, but I will let him off the hook if he wants it, because he's
given paid by the word, man.
He's given enough to this show over the course of the last little while. Speaking of which, Sports with Friends, I guess it's Hall of Justice this week. I know you can do it tomorrow, but I'll
Friends this week. Hall of Justice last week was Star Wars.
Okay.
This week it's third appearance for Joe Theismann, former quarterback, avid golfer.
Yep, frequent guest of our show as well. Good guy.
Real good dude.
Joe Theismann was my least favorite broadcaster. I didn't like Joe on air. And I don't know if I've told him that, but we got him on the show. And this is back when we were doing afternoons in Southwest Florida. And so we booked Joe Theismann. Well, I'm not going to tell anybody to not put, it's Joe Theismann. You can put him on the show. And he's awesome. He's funny. He's self-deprecating. He had tons of knowledge. Could not have been nicer. Told our producer, who John Cassio at the time, and said, anytime, guys. And when you say anytime to Miller and Moulton, Seth knows this. He said this about 18 years ago. We've had him on every week since. And Joe couldn't be a kinder person. He's been on the show a million times. If I text Joe, he'll answer and he'll come on the show. He's always been that way. And that's where I kind of lost that one. And I was one of those that gave Joe Buck a hard time for the whole mooning thing when he went nuts. And we got Joe, now David works with Joe Buck, but before David ever went to work with Joe Buck, David was essentially auditioning for Joe at the now, whatever the shootout is here in Naples. Grant Thornton is the tournament sponsor now. So it was still, I think, whatever it was, the QBE at that point, whatever it was. And we had Joe on because he was going to broadcast that tournament. And Joe sat down with us because we were on location. And Joe was awesome. I mean, he was great. And I got Joe was able to give us the impression that if he wasn't the son of a famous announcer and got his way into doing Cardinal games and then becoming, really one of the best play-by-play guys of our generation, that Joe would have been comfortable doing afternoons in whatever city. Joe was just fun. He was cool. And, I quit having any preconceived notions of any guess, because some of the people, like, you remember the sports reporters. I always thought Mike Lubica was pretty pompous on that show, and he was. And Lubica came on our show. He was great. Yeah. He was awesome. So I kind of
all an act. Yeah. So Theismann, when I started teaching this class at Montclair on the history of sports media, right? We conceptualized, what going through history, what would be important classes. And one of my favorite ones is the concept of egregious, disgusting replays. And do you replay that on TV? And, even now we've added Damar Hamlin's situation. Like, how close did you get when they were doing CPR and things like that? Clint Malarchuk, Alex Smith, like all of these. So when I was doing the research for it, I found the video of me interviewing Joe Theismann the first time he came on Sports with Friends a bunch of years ago. And we talked extensively about his leg injury. And I told him this week when we recorded, I said, just so you know, I take like a 6-minute clip of us talking about your leg injury and I play it for my students on that day. And Joe Theismann's like, well, why don't I do it live? I go, excuse me? And he goes, when's your class? He goes, how hard is it for me to click on Zoom? So now Joe Theismann's going to be a guest speaker at my Montclair State class.
That's fantastic.
Like that was his idea, not even mine.
Right.
What a great dude.
All right. One other thing, and this is where I tend to disagree on this whole Sorsby case. Charlie Baker, the head of the NCAA, yesterday put out a post on X.
He's stealing money. Charlie Baker?
Absolutely. There's no better example of why targeted intervention from Congress is necessary when you have schools and deep-pocketed supporters willing to look the other way on the glaring integrity threat of betting on your own team, and judges whose rulings effectively strip away our ability to stop them. Only Congress can equip the NCAA to apply this common sense rule to everyone fairly and consistently. The Protect Sports Act would empower the NCAA to enforce rules, including the gambling restrictions. It's needed now more than ever. Ah, boy, Charlie. No, I mean, it's a tough one because there's part of what he's saying that's right. I mean, there's no doubt that, deep-pocketed supporters willing to look the other way, integrity threat of betting on your own team, judges whose ruling effectively strip away our ability to stop them, because the NCAA has ruled against this kid, and they got a judge to overrule the same the restrictions that the NCAA put on the young man. So I agree with all of that. I do not agree that Congress is the answer to fix anything, let alone college sports. I just don't. I've never believed that.
Anything.
Right. I mean, they do have a lower approval rating than dentists. Think about that for a second. Nobody likes going to the dentist.
I remember.
That's an anti-dentite.
A raging anti-dentite. I remember when the steroid hearing was happening, and it was the oversight committee.
Right.
And I got sent, and I was in that town, in that building, and in that rotunda there, and I covered those hearings. I was in 2 of those hearings, the one with McGuire and Rafael Palmeiro,
the finger waving, right,
and the one with Clemens. I was the one with Clemens too, and I remember being there, saying, I was so shocked at how unprepared the various Congress people were in asking such uninformed questions of these guys. And I said, they're not going to accomplish anything. And that was decades ago. So this isn't about the current state of Congress. This is about always with Congress. Like, this is not going to happen. And Congress, I don't care what side you're on, Congress has no business getting involved in this.
None.
This is a private entity. If anything, what Mark, you were saying earlier about, making them employees and collectively bargaining, if you wanted to go down that route, that's fine. I mean, you're going to have to do it and I'm not going to have to like it. But the fact of the matter is that's probably the only solution. But the
they're
reality
employees now. I mean, come on, Seth. When the payroll for Ohio State is somewhere around $43 million for the football team. For the football team. And we've put a cap of $20 million for all of collegiate athletics. And yet the Ohio State football team spending 43 plus million on their football team, not coaches, players, that's roster. They're employees. What the hell else are they? I don't see another answer to control costs, because even if, and I made the point earlier on the show in the past month, that look, we have more millionaires than we've ever had before. There's lots of money out there. I don't have it, but there's lots of money out there. So seemingly these colleges can continue to go to the well. Does that make it how we want this? Do we want the team with, everybody, I'll just put it in baseball terms. People like the NFL, there's a cap. The NHL, the NBA. Baseball gets criticized for not having a cap. I don't think they're going to get one, but that's what fans want. Why wouldn't you want that in college football? Why do you want, Ohio State and Texas to be able to spend more than Florida and Florida State or Syracuse or Michigan State? I just don't get it. We'll switch gears. NBA talk. Wemby with the big game on the road last night. Now, the Knicks up just 2-1. Their 13-game winning streak in the playoffs ended last night at home. Leigh Ellis to talk the NBA Finals. Next, Miller and Mouton, millerandmoulton.com.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I'm going to get some water. I guess there was a Knicks watch party at Bryant Park because it was farther enough away.
Yeah, I think there was one at Central Park too. I thought they showed video of it. That's the only thing I know.
My friend said it was just so challenging to get out of here, get out of the city.
Left Twix because Skip Bayless is a fraud. Skip Bayless just takes whatever side he wants. He's a complete fraud. I would never have him on the show, ever. I have no interest. Of all the people out there, that's probably the one person in this line of work that I have no interest in. Because someone asked, Steve, would you put Stephen A on? Yeah, I'd put Stephen A on. I'm not a huge Stephen A fan, but come on, the guy's he's the basically it's either he or McAfee that's the biggest voice of ESPN. They are the worldwide leader. I mean,
can I tell a secret about Stephen A?
Sure.
I've never seen a show hosted by him or Skip Bayless ever in my life.
Good for you.
Ever. I've seen clips on like TikTok or whatever, but I've never sat down and seen a show. The closest I ever came was at the dentist. And I literally asked them to take the thing out of my mouth so I could say, could you change this?
That's fantastic.
That's a true story.
I believe you.
I've never seen these two losers ever. And I only know what Bayless looks like because they had promos during NFL games.
Right. All right, Leigh, just want to make sure you can hear us through here. You got us? That's no bueno. Leigh, you got us? Huh. Leigh, could you not hear me? Leigh, can you hear us?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton, Seth Everett filling in this morning for David. David will be back on Monday, or at least that's the plan at this point.
Rumor.
Certainly hoping so. Having a little trouble. For the last 2 days, the phone has not been as cooperative as I would like with this particular device. And
You mean to fill time?
No, I mean, I could
go through Arsenal's strategy for the summer.
That's what we're all looking for, Seth. For whatever reason, having a little difficulty with the system and the Bluetooth, but hopefully we'll cook. Now we're connected. Think we're there. Let's see if that's the case. No, it's not working. So I'm going to have to try this again. Leigh, let me call you right back. Miller and Moulton. Seth, I'll let you give me a little Arsenal talk if you want.
Okay.
That'll work.
No, we'll talk. You know what? We can talk about the virtues of how wonderful FIFA is. We'll just talk about how much we enjoy having FIFA in our world, the most corrupt sports organization in the history of sports, the good old FIFA.
Boy, you are after them, and I get it. But the World Cup starts Thursday night, Mexico City playing. Friday, the U.S. plays. I purposefully had my World Cup preview on Monday when you were. I was going to, he said Monday or Tuesday. I said, let's do Monday. Let's make sure that we're able to do it on a day where, Seth's not here.
Well, I don't know if you know the Apple Sports app. I don't know if you've seen the Apple Sports app, but that's an app where you can tell it what your teams are. So normally I have it say that, the New Jersey Devils, Arsenal, and Syracuse football and basketball and whatnot. And what I did was I took the countries that have Arsenal players on them and I designated those as my favorite countries. So like Germany and Brazil and all these countries that are. So my phone is alerting me whenever these programs are playing so I can watch the World Cup.
All right, Leigh, do you have us? God bless America. I have no idea what's going on. And that really is frightening because this phone, we're going to need this to do a few interviews today. So I have no idea why it says it's working, but for whatever reason is not working. I'll give it one last try. And if that's the case, then we'll have to move on with something else. But trying to connect with Leigh Ellis here, who has been kind enough to join us on the American Paint Supplies hotline. But for whatever reason, the device with
American Paint
up to our YouTube or to the phone doesn't work. So I have no idea what to do this morning and where to go with this. But we had Leigh Ellis. I planned on talking some NBA Finals because the Spurs last night gave us a series.
It was like the Seinfeld when Danny Tartabull was supposed to see
the road team win 4 consecutive games. And I don't know. San Antonio was great last night. Can they actually do it again? That remains to be seen.
One can only hope, right? One can only hope. See all those Knicks fans crying? That would be theater.
I'm with you on that. I am not a happy New York sports fan, but it is a.
I know. I don't have the vitriol for the Knicks like I have for the Rangers. I can't stand the Rangers.
I know that, but I'm just my only problem, and it's always been this way, is that New York fans can't understand why the rest of the world wouldn't love their teams as much as they do. They seem to have a problem with that. And Leigh, I'm going to have to cancel this because unfortunately I can't get this to work. So I have no idea what the hell's going on. We're going to have to try something perhaps crazy. I don't know. I don't like the idea of turning the board off and turning it back on during a commercial break, but we may have to try that because it is telling me that it is not connecting at all with the device. So that is that. I apologize. Planned on talking with Leigh Ellis about the NBA Finals last night. We did get a solid game 3.
What he sounds like. I couldn't do an impression.
He has an English accent. There's nothing more fun than talking to an NBA person with an English accent.
So Victor Wembanyama.
That's really not the accent.
Could I ask him about Arsenal?
No, Seth. The interview has been, I don't know what part of the interview has been canceled that you don't seem to get right now because I can't seem to get it to work. That is very unfortunate. So the only chance I had, I have no idea. I just want to see. Yeah, it's.
I don't even know how it works.
So turn it off, turn it back on again is the only thing that I can really hope for, and we'll do it during the break.
Because like a Fonzie when he used to fix the lights. Just bang on it.
I like the fact that it's Seth Everett that gave us the 40-plus-year-old reference today. That's usually my job on the show.
I told you at my graduation, Henry Winkler was the guest speaker, and he started making Fonzie references, and none of the undergrads knew anything that he was talking about.
At your college graduation
at
or
Emerson, not my college graduation, for my master's.
Okay, Henry Winkler was the speaker for your
the
master's.
commencement speaker at Emerson, and they put the master's students like adjacent to the undergrad, so like all these kids were like just down the row, and he starts referencing Fonzie stuff, and I'm looking at all these people, and there's like 3 of the master's people that were with me, and we were all like, we're the only people in this building that understand this, except for the parents. It was wild.
It is crazy because now the only thing I think of, and I don't know if it was on terrestrial radio, but there was some eye disease, and his father-in-law had it. And so he was doing all of these PSAs for some eye disease and getting it.
This is during Happy Days run?
No, this is in the last 6 months.
Oh.
And
I'm
like, wow, what's it come to? You're doing PSAs for a rare eye disease. And I'm like, and I mean, you're the Fonz, for crying out loud. But you're right. I mean, he would have probably done better making references to Bobby Boucher and coaching him in Waterboy than Happy Days references.
Well, no, what we were talking to people afterwards, we were talking about is Barry. That's the show he should have talked about more. This show Barry that was on, I think it was Showtime, with he won an Emmy Award for it. So I don't know. He also Henry Winkler said that he was a bad student in high school, and he applied to a bunch of colleges, and Emerson was the only school that accepted him. And so that's why he's so loyal to Emerson. The other famous Emerson alum is Jennifer Coolidge, Stifler's mom.
Okay, you had to go there because by the name I was waiting for you.
She's in the White Lotus. She's and she's in every Discover commercial with Wayne Gretzky.
That's right. That is Stifler's mom.
That's
She does all the
Coolidge.
she does all the Discover. Yeah, she wears all the funky clothes in those commercials. I wouldn't have known her by name. I mean, that's more on me because I am horrible with actors' names. You know, if you say it's that character, I'm like, oh yeah, it's, ironically, when I do Today Was the Day When, and I go through the list of people as I'm doing it the day before, there are and I'm like, if I mention this person, is anybody going to know? I know who the face is, but by the name, am I ever going to be?
I'll do one more really old reference. During game 1 or 2 of the NBA Finals, when it was in San Antonio, Patrick Ewing was there. And Patrick Ewing was dressed in this he had this like this fedora, this weird cap and a vest. And someone tweeted a picture of him and said, he looks like Sanford and Son.
Highly underrated show, by the way.
It's the big one.
Highly underrated show. A show that could not
only
come
a certain
close.
generation gets that.
Well, and if you go back and watch, just all I ask everybody with Sanford Son, you only have to watch one highlight of that show. YouTube Fred Sanford in court, and watch that scene, and then understand that was on network television, not cable, because there was no such thing.
There was no cable.
Network television.
Yeah. Yes, Jennifer Coolidge was on Two Broke Girls. Sorry, I'm reading.
That's a great show, by the way.
Yep.
Two Broke Girls was funny. I enjoyed that show.
Yep.
All right. Seth, you and I are not NBA aficionados. However, you are anti-Knicks because of I don't because you are very
not really anti-Knicks. I kind of like to see train wrecks, and
they've done that for us for generations. I mean, that's who
but
they've
the Knicks
been.
have been irrelevant, so it hasn't really been a thing. I'm more interested in if they have a 2-0 lead, a 2-0 series lead, and they're already printing out the parade route. I'd like to see them have to earn it.
I would too. I'm totally with you that I would like to see. I want to see the series go 6 or 7.
The Knick fan is incorrigible.
Well,
David Moulton excluded.
Well, there's no doubt, and it's annoying. Yes, they play in New York, therefore famous people are fans of the team because famous people do like sports as well.
Right.
For whatever reason, that then the networks who do the games try to create this false narrative that their fans are more important than any other fans. And that's where the rest of us get annoyed. I don't need to see
That's Yankee fans too. Yankee fans are just like that.
Knicks more than any, though. Knicks
Probably.
is, and I think because of where they sit. You know, I mean, they're all courtside. You know, I mean, last night you couldn't get a break without seeing Timothy Chalamet or Ben Stiller or John McEnroe or Spike Lee. Now, Spike's
John McEnroe, who, by the way, on Sunday was in Roland Garros.
Yeah, he was at the game last night, and he did during the final talk about the Knicks. I give him, he's been going to games for like McEnroe and Spike Lee. I'll give probably the most. You may not like Spike Lee. He may annoy you with the outfits for whatever reason. You may have your own problems with him.
Huge Prince fan.
You can't deny that he's not a gigantic Knick fan. He's been doing this for as long as we can remember. So, I mean, I can't question the man's fandom. But to think that for whatever reason, because it's New York and all the media is in New York and it's the center of the universe, I get all of those things. That their fans are somewhat more important than the San Antonio fan or the Oklahoma City fan or the whatever fan. It's always, that's where the rest of us that are not from your part, and you get it, Seth, and David gets it, but people from New York have always had this attitude.
But also, like, the ticket prices for yesterday were just obnoxious. And then the plummet, you know, after the whole thing with Trump yesterday, and then all of a sudden the StubHub, you know, the prices were going down. So people were getting in late, you know, they were buying tickets at the, like, literally the last minute. Just what a mess.
It's crazy that you can fly, like a New York fan can fly to San Antonio and get tickets cheaper for the flight and the tickets than going to a game at MSG.
Well, that's like my buddy in Toronto who came to Newark to see his Maple Leafs play the Devils because it was cheaper than trying to get a game at wherever their Air Canada Center or whatever they call that place.
Right. No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Miller and Mouton, sorry we could not bring you Leigh Ellis, some technical issues. I will try my damnedest to fix them during the break because, well, I really want to have Andrew Bradt on in 10 minutes time to talk some sports law, and some of the things that are going on, not just with the Sorsby case. He's wrote a book as well. Nobody smarter at the business of sports than Andrew Bradt. He's been on the show a million times and always enlightens us on a lot of different items. So we will talk with Andrew Bradt if I can get everything fixed in the next 10 minutes. That's my job. I don't know what yours is, but if you're on your way to work, drive safe. And, you know, if you're working from home, then continue to tune into Miller and Mouton. You can always watch the show, twitch.tv/Miller and Mouton, youtube.com/Miller and Mouton if you want to watch the show as well. Seth Everett filling in today. Trent will be with us the rest of the week. David expected to be back on Monday. Back to the Sorsby thing. Got a couple of great texts, and I appreciate you texting this stuff. We're talking about Sorsby and the addiction thing and the 25 days or 35 days of rehab or whatever it was. And yes, he'll have to continue on, but to think he's cured is ridiculous. This person said addiction is an everyday battle. Been sober for well over 5 years. However, it took 15 years of trying and truly wanting help to finally understand it's an everyday mental health check-in. It does get easier with time, but never goes away. So I don't think 35 days fixed him if he's truly an addict. Another person texted in, I've been an addiction professional for 26 years. If he has a true addiction, it will never be cured. The brain doesn't work like that. So appreciate your comments, appreciate your insight on a subject that is difficult to talk about because we're not experts. And we're not
trying to bash the guy.
No, I'm bashing.
He just shouldn't be eligible.
I'm bashing the system, not the guy. Miller and Mouton. Andrew Bradt coming up on the other side.
We'll see.
If we can pull it off. If not, I don't know what the hell we're going to do. The Pro Hour, we call it. Thanks for listening. Miller and Mouton. MillerandMoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican
What are we
Roofing
gonna
of
do?
Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hello, hello, hello. All right, it's working again. Let's just see what the hell happens. Still booting up, so. Seth, can you hear me? Okay. I just want to see if the Bluetooth is working. Let's see. Who can I? All right. I think we're working again. Engineering 101. Turn it off, turn it back on again.
Good job.
Although it's funny because the screen has not booted up yet on the. There's actually a digital screen on the board. It still just has the name of the board on there. So who knows if that'll pop back on? But as long as we're working.
I don't know how any of that stuff works.
All right. I am going to call Andrew and pray to God everything works. Andrew, you got us?
Yep.
Okay, good. Having some technical problems
Okay.
this morning, so wanted to make sure we're working. Thanks again.
You got it.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. I will say when you reset things, sometimes not everything runs as it's supposed to. So for whatever reason, the computer's not connected and the board is not running. So such is life. We will start with a cold open. That's how things go some days. The Pro Hour. Hello, Jacksonville. Hello, Tampa. And for those of you joining us, youtube.com, twitch.tv, we welcome Andrew Bradt to the show. Andrew Bradt joins us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline. He is a sports law professor at Villanova, an NIL consultant, the Business of Sports podcast, former Packers vice president, and he's wrote a book, Smarter About Sports. It comes out in July. Wanted to get you on to promote the book, Andrew. Obviously, people can order ahead of time. I will ask the question we ask everyone when they do this because it's never for the money. So why'd you write a book?
Definitely not for the money. I appreciate you guys having me. Good to be with you. I always resisted, and since I left the Packers 15 years ago, probably the question I get asked most is, when are you going to write a book? And I've always said, well, I'm doing columns, I'm doing teaching, I'm writing for this, I'm doing ESPN columns or Sports Illustrated columns or my newsletter. And it just sort of like, I don't want to do such a daunting project, but at some point it came over me. I guess the resistance to doing a book was overtaken by the need or urge to sort of let the public, the world, know everything I know. And it's a culmination of what I've been trying to do the past 15 years, which is, in a nutshell, make people smarter about sports. Take them inside, practical, experiential insights, perspectives that they don't get anywhere else, stories that only I can tell. And through stories, letting people know about being an agent, working for a team, working for ESPN, working as an NIL consultant, working for agencies as a consultant, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V for people know. Just sort of getting involved through stories about what's going on, how to work in sports, what goes on, not a media perspective, not a professor perspective that hasn't worked in sports, But that, and the last thing I'll say is there are books out there by front office executives that have worked in sports. There are books out there by agents that have represented players. There are books out there by people who've worked in media. There are books out there by people who've worked in academia. This is all of those.
One of the things that we've been debating on this show, I'm curious to get your perspective. Tell me something good about the upcoming World Cup.
Well, then you got me there. That's not one.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
I'll tell you what is good is that it puts the nation in a position that we're on this stage with the most popular sport in the world where we haven't been before. No matter how we as a country do in the event, like we're hosting, we're in this game. And having traveled the world, having tried to start an American football team in Barcelona, Spain, where we were just a diversion, no one cared, people cheered at the wrong times, they wondered why we didn't keep the action going like soccer. You know, we are a minority out there with American football. And now we can bring it to this country and say, yeah, football too, not just American football.
All right. The biggest story of the day is not the NBA Finals, not the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. This Brendan Sorsby thing is to me the biggest thing going in sports right now because there are so many tentacles. And one of your lines is always, there will be lawyers. Well, there were lawyers, and the lawyers for Sorsby were able to get this injunction and allow him to play. We've kind of gone through the story a million different ways. What and my co-host David Mouton, who's out today, we've been saying for years, and I can already see on one of your expos that you think that maybe this is wrong too. So I want your side of this, is that we've always said, make them employees. If you're going to try to reduce cost or keep costs level, you've got to bring them on board as employees. You can't keep doing this the way they're doing it. You've poked holes in that on X. Do you think down the road that this is the answer, or do you have an answer to try to curtail the out-of-hand spending in collegiate athletics?
Yeah, first on the lawyer side, and I'm a lawyer, and I've been on both sides, the student-athlete side and the school side, now advising schools on this. Yeah, I mean, the lawyers have arguments where they go to judges, and the judges are like, whether they're state court judges or not, they're like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, so you have Chambliss, you have Pavia, and now you have Sorsby going to a judge and saying, you know, I've got this irreparable harm, which is what allows people to get an injunction to play. And what's the irreparable harm? Well, if I can't play, I can't make $1 million that I'll never make again, because NIL earnings you never saw these cases before NIL earnings went crazy. So the judge is like, yeah, that's irreparable harm. And by the time you get to court for a real trial or for an appeal by the NCAA, the season's over. You know, there's the courts don't move at the speed of football. So they've gamed the system, these lawyers. That's one side of it. The other side of it is the schools themselves. We've sold our soul. Like Texas Tech is not fighting this. Like Texas Tech is like, we're
benefiting. Right.
Yeah, these Nebraska players that were caught with not submitting their NIL deals. Well, Nebraska was on their side, not the NCAA side. So we've sold our soul on that side. And yes, he's a quarterback. If he was a down the line player, we wouldn't hear about this. So anyway, everyone says what you said. Well, just bargain. And I'm a lawyer seeing this, and I'm like, well, that sounds easy, but we're not in the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball where you have one bargaining unit, a bunch of players playing the same sport, and one management unit, the owners. I ask this to people who say collective bargaining, and sometimes they just they don't have an answer. Like, who's the bargaining unit? Is it football? Is it basketball? Is it women's sports? Is it D1 sports? Is it Power 4 sports? Is it all sports? Is it non-revenue sports? Is it all D1? And who's on the other side? Is it ADs? Is it conferences? Is it schools? Is it presidents? Is it Power 4 only? Is it everyone? What about basketball versus football? Like, come on. And there are states out there that do not allow public university employees to collectively bargain. And the private versus public in every conference, you've got, show me a way. Like, that sounds great. So you're now thinking, all right, Brandt, what's the answer? And I wish I had it. I think somehow, some way, we've got to get to governance that is not the NCAA that's trying to govern Ohio State football and Immaculata field hockey. Like, that's not working. We need a governing body that has the interests of the Power 4 schools, of women's sports, of the athlete side to get, and the important thing is to have some power, whether it's the NCAA or someone else, imbuing them with power to legislate these things without running to court. The one thing I'll say about the congressional bill, and everyone can argue about politics, but that could help the lawsuits. That could say, no, you can't run to court every time you get a decision you can't play. So for that reason, I am in favor of a congressional bill.
Do you get the sense that, forgive me, but this is what you're saying sounds idealistic. So my question to you is, do you see that there will be some kind of selfless interest into this policy to kind of right the wrongs that are going on? I mean, we're seeing this story. We had a guy on last hour who's sitting there saying there's probably, 20 to 30 to 50 other athletes that are gambling on this stuff, and no one seems to be governing this. And there doesn't seem to be anybody in charge. And it's everyone jokingly says, "Oh, college sports, it's the wild, wild west." Where do you see this all going?
Well, I mean, it's become a cottage industry, unfortunately, to bash the NCAA. Like, everyone answers their own question. Like, the NCAA is trying to govern this, but everything they do is met with a lawsuit, a school complaining because they can't get their big quarterback signed or whatever it may be. And we supposedly had this settlement a year ago that the schools agreed to, but no one is willing to comply. Like, I don't understand these questions. This is the NCAA trying to govern, and they can't. And they can't because the power of sports, like, oh no, not our athlete, not our guy. You enforce that for those other schools. And, the one thing in my background with the NFL is like, there was a real recognition, like, you're only as good as your weakest link. And I was in Green Bay and we got the same media revenues as New York and Dallas. And now you have the SEC. They don't want to do that. Like, so maybe it just needs to be an NCAA for every conference. Like, I just don't know why people we need governance, and then they bash the NCAA.
Well,
the NCAA is trying.
Right. And that's in this case, they ruled against Sorsby and he finally got an injunction. And it's not about being, and that's the thing, Andrew, it's not about being eligible. It's about being eligible for this year. It's not about beating the law. It's circumventing it. And the NCAA, unfortunately, seems to lose every time they go to court.
The big thing they lost, in my mind, and I deal with this in negotiating NIL contracts, is the portal. And I'm used to pro sports. We have long-term contracts. I can't believe it when I got into this, that there is perpetual free agency. And what happened was these attorney generals, right? Like, why are they on the player side? I don't know. It's popular politically. They go to court and say, Joe, he's an engineering major. He can transfer every year.
Yep.
Susie's a music major. And the judge is like, yeah. So everyone's transferring every year. Every team's built from scratch. And no one seems to mind, at least from the school side.
The name of the book is Smarter About Sports. Andrew Bradt, he's the author. It will be coming out in July. Andrew, I've said this every time you've come on the show. We always get a little bit smarter when you join us. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
That's the goal. People can go to Amazon and do the pre-order, or even the smarteraboutsports.com, or my Instagram at Andrew Brandt 2 to order. So thanks for that.
Miller and Moulton, and by doing the commercials or rebooting the computer, we're going to go 2 more minutes, Seth, because for whatever reason, the computer that plays the commercials is not running. This is a commercial-free hour. We've got double shots all day long. I apologize. I don't know why it's happening, but I can't seem to run a break right now, and I for the life of me, have no idea why.
Telemundo came out.
Let's break to turn us off and on again, and see if that works, Seth, because it's not right now.
All right,
this is something I've never experienced this, but we tried to reboot during the break, so we'll take it all the way up till the affiliate break, and then let them go in a couple of minutes. But we've went with the turn it off, turn it on system, and that worked. Yeah. It got the phones to work, and it got us Andrew Brandt.
But now we can't play anything.
But the commercials, well, they're not running. So we'll turn it off and turn it on again during this break and see if that works. Well, I'll tell you what.
Sure, it had to happen on a Tuesday.
Right. I will say, Seth, my whole theory about collectively bargaining, the lawyer just got on the show and told me that idea sucks too. So now I have no idea where to go, because he wants Congress to intervene. I didn't think that was the best idea. I generally trust the smart lawyer over the dumb talk.
I wasn't being disparaging. What he said was very idealistic.
Yes.
Okay.
But he wants every conference. He also said, does every conference have to have a commissioner? And that's why we have talked about that. Every conference operates under its own program. As it says at the end of the break, this is Miller and Moulton. Check 1, 2. All right, that's working. You guys can hear me. This computer's working. This one isn't. What the hell? Nothing. All right, let's just try to turn this whole computer off. Son of a. All right, that's a good sign.
Welcome back to Miller and Mouton.
Stop,
Text the guy.
Stop. All right, I can run that. All right, that's kind of fired on its own, but that's okay.
Yikes.
No, I turned the computer. I turned this computer off and on again. That's all I could go with, Seth. I know when it's supposed to run. I'll run it at 21. We're fine. Holy cow. That was interesting. That's fun to do while doing a show, trying to contact guests. I mean, that's putting my producer skills to the test. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Mouton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Well, it's not. It's Mark Miller. David will be back on Monday. I believe I've got all the computers working again. I'm pretty fired up.
All good things.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we got everything to work here, that was, for whatever reason, it all started when the phones didn't work. But fascinating interview with Andrew, because I wanted to get into the Sorsby thing. He's a lawyer, like he's mentioned. He works for Villanova, teaches sports law. He was an agent. He worked for the Packers. He's now working at NIL for the schools. So he's kind of on all sides of this, and he doesn't have the answers himself. He did put a hole in what I've wanted, what David and I have talked about, making them athletes and collectively bargain. He doesn't think it, he's like, it's not that easy, guys. Here's all the things involved. What I did get out of it, though, Seth, when he talks about every conference being, its own entity, which I know is true and I've talked about before, and they're in it for themselves. Of all the things, look, Congress may get into this and they may end up doing something, and maybe that gives them help. But he kept saying you need one voice to be the authoritarian on this. Didn't everything he say make you believe more that a super conference is down the road? That's of all the things I took out of it, Seth, super conference, and I could have done an hour with Andrew. I always enjoy talking to him.
There could have,
more time. That's where I would have gone.
I mean, the more and more smart people that you hear from that say that's happening, it's happening.
Right. We've got to get through these current TV deals, which take us through basically the rest of the decade.
But rename them. Don't call them the Big Ten, and don't call them the SEC. Enough with that. Like, move on past that. Call them the A teams and the B teams, and you have a construction level. And if you want to have an Eastern and a Western conference of the A thing, go for it. But have relegate, and then introduce relegation.
Well,
so
I think
Wisconsin finishes in last place in the A team, and they get sent to the B team.
Seth, I actually don't think that that's outlandish. And the American sports fan has taken more of a shine to the idea of relegation than ever before. We've watched the Premier League. I'm not saying everybody's into it, but I'm just telling you, more people are now aware of it. They're aware of relegation. And seemingly the only way, to me, whether it's antitrust or all the things that you want to do with collegiate sports, that somehow, some way, the bottom teams in the big money college super conference, if, let's just for instance say Syracuse is not interested in the big boy conference, they don't have,
they'll be in the riffraff. Yeah,
and
I know.
In my school, I'll just take our two alma maters because I think Michigan State will be in the A group.
Fine, but they have to win to stay in.
Right. I think they'll be at best the middle of it and more than likely the bottom of it. And I could see a scenario where, and I do also think one other thing with this super conference, football needs to break away. If the NCAA wants, and this is where it's going to be fascinating because maybe they have to do it for basketball and maybe let's just say for a number of 40 for football and it's 80 for basketball. Maybe Syracuse says we're in hoop, but we can't afford football.
Which is what Washington State's considering. That's exactly what they're considering. My point is, if you look just 2 weeks ago, on the last day of the Premier League season, two stalwart programs, Tottenham and West Ham, two teams, and they're going into the final day, and there's a scenario for each of them to get relegated. Imagine what November would be like if Michigan State is playing Wisconsin and the loser gets sent down. Or what if Michigan State is playing Ohio State in its November and Ohio State's trying to get on to the championship and all these other things, but Michigan State's playing for their lives. Imagine how much better a football game that would be. Think about it in terms of the NFL. Would you want to see the Jets play give me some other bad team?
Saints.
The Saints. The Jets play the Saints and in December and have nobody care or have everybody care.
And look,
that's what relegation
is never going to happen in the NFL.
No, it's never going to happen in the NFL. I'm just using it to illustrate the point.
No. But what I'm saying is it's never going to happen in our four major sports because now these franchises are worth billions.
100%.
Yes, collegiate athletics are worth billions, but I do believe from an antitrust standpoint, and I could be wrong, but in order to make everybody in college football buy in, we're going to have a super league. Well, how do you convince Syracuse, Boise State, Boston College, I don't know, the schools that aren't doing it to say if we want to join, if all of a sudden Seth Everett comes up with the next widget that makes him a billionaire and he wants to invest in his school, much the same way, like, Ryan Russillo bought, what's the TV show? You bought that team in the whatever low league. He's moved them all the way up to the second level in a 100%. Short time because he's done it with money.
That's right.
And they've become popular, the TV show, whatever. They went from like level 4 to level 2 in 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
So
it's
if
doable.
Someone wants to take where I live in Southwest Florida, all of a sudden a billionaire says, I'm going to put a football program at Florida Gulf Coast University, and they're going to play in 1AA, but our goal is to get them in the top league. Now they have one. Could that be a way that the antitrust thing happens? I don't know. But we've bought into relegation in this country. There's no pro sport that will ever allow it to happen. And I could actually see a scenario where the big boys of college football have to leave the door open for new teams. And if you're only going to have 40, 48, whatever the hell the number is, how do you let people in?
Right. And so at Rutgers, which was put into the Big Ten because of the cable industry that doesn't exist anymore, right? Rutgers is in the Big Ten. If they struggle, they should get sent to the riffraff. And if you want to use my alma mater as the example, if Syracuse could win in
the riffraff,
promoted, send Rutgers out. Oh my God. How much fun would college football be?
And think about it. Yeah, people pay attention to the 1AA title when North Dakota's playing
It's not
Montana.
1AA. The B conference is a bunch of mid majors. It's the old Big 12 and the old ACC.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is, the FCS conference, when North Dakota's playing Montana State or whatever it is, yeah, a couple people tune in for the title. Could you imagine in the B League, as Seth calls it, that Syracuse is playing whomever? They're playing
Kentucky.
Whatever. Kentucky being the A League. But I know what you're saying. But the B League championship, and they've got a shot or whatever. The final four teams, maybe 4 go up or 2 go up. Those semifinal games, how relevant they would be, the money that would be at stake. Don't know if it would happen. But if there's a sport in which it could happen, college football's now it.
Oh,
that's
fantastic.
And who people are saying, well, you've got free agents every year. If they create this, they're going to be able to determine the rules on transferring.
Right, because the caps for the A League would be higher than the caps for the B League. So if you're the program that's going to get relegated, you're going to lose $10 million off your cap.
And if everybody's playing by the same cap, you're not going to be able to transfer the way that you are. See, that's the dip right now. Texas, Ohio State, there are schools that are like Florida's not spending the most. And if, Florida did a hell of a job of keeping their running back this year. They really did, because everybody wanted the kid. They were able to spend enough money to keep him. If everybody's playing with the $30 million, $40 million, whatever the hell the number is, if all the schools in the A League are playing at the same number, well, then the transferring's not going to be as rampant as it once was.
Correct.
And there'll be someone in charge. And if they get the antitrust exemption that Andrew Bradt was talking about, well, then they can put rules in that can be enforced. Miller and Mouton. Today was the day when the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what's on tap. It's how we finish things off. Miller and Mouton.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Want to make fun of me?
Why not?
I have to go after this is done. I have to go charge my car at the mall.
Okay.
So I do laps in the mall, like with the old ladies.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, it's the best. I love it. It is so fun.
Do you have to charge? Like, you can't. Do you have something at your house? I know it takes longer, but
It takes a long time.
What's
and
the
this is
difference
free.
between what? Yeah, exactly.
So Hyundai has a deal, 30 minutes free every day. And so if I go to the mall where there's an Electrify America, it takes like 18 minutes.
Gotcha. And that charges your whole car. If you were to do it,
Yeah, it'll go from like where I'm at now, I'm like at 10, and it'll go to 80 instantly in 18 minutes.
okay. So if you were to do it at a home system out of a regular 120 outlet, is that a possibility? And two, how long would it take to charge your car?
Well, that would take days. That would take days.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, there's level 2, which they have in my building. They have a level 2, and it would take like 6 hours. I could do that but then I'm stuck here for 6 hours.
No. I'm just curious. I've never owned an electric vehicle,
Yeah.
and I've actually.
Yeah, there's level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is plug it into a wall. That takes days. Level 2, it would take like 6 hours.
So that's like the conversion kit that you have to buy for your home, essentially.
Yeah. Which we put one in the house, but now I don't have the house anymore, But the opening up Electrify America at the mall was a game changer for me because it's 30 minutes free every day. And it takes 18 minutes to charge.
Okay, so it's 30 minutes. That's the mall's deal. You can have 30 minutes free.
Yeah, it's just a deal with Hyundai.
Okay, I got you.
But to me, it's a deal breaker, like a deal maker rather. But then what I do is I plug it in. My phone will give me a countdown to when it's charged, and then I just I do some laps. I walk into Nordstrom and just start hauling.
Walk in the mall. Look at you.
I listen to a podcast and I walk the mall, and I recognize some of the ladies.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love everything about this.
I probably do it like once a week.
I would imagine the charger. Yeah, probably Deadstroke. The chargers at like golf.
Tesla has level 2 and level 3, but they have the different charger, and it's so funny because Hyundai gives you an adapter to use a Tesla charger, but Tesla charges. They charge for their charge.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, and maybe if you have a Tesla, but I wouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, they've at Gulf Coast Town Center. We are not very electric down here, so that's
no kidding.
That's the only place I know that has them.
Yeah.
And I see people over there all the time. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, we'll say for whatever. There's a decent amount of electric cars here. There just isn't obviously the readily available chargers, if you will. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton, Seth Everett helping us out today. David will be back on Monday. Trent Valley will help us out the rest of the week.
But the stuff doesn't break when he's here.
Whew. This was work today. I feel like I need a nap, and I've got to go give blood right after this. Always enjoyable. It was a stressful morning.
Right.
And they're going to do my blood pressure, and they're going to yell at me. I'm going to have to do a lot of deep breathing between now and giving blood. We'll see what kind of mood the nurses are in. That's always can make things better or worse.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
I probably should have looked up who the first one to do it, but it didn't happen today, so I didn't care. It was today in 1914 that Pirate shortstop Honus Wagner is the second player to get 3,000 hits. I have no idea who the first was. 14's before Cobb, right? I mean, Cobb wasn't at 3,000 in 1914.
Correct.
The Donald Duck debuted today in 1934. I think he might be my favorite of the Disney animated character, like the OGs.
Never wore pants.
Exactly, and who can blame him? FDR today in 43 signs the Current Tax Payment Act into law. Taxes withheld from workers' wages goes straight to the government. So blame FDR. How pissed must people have been in 43? Like, seriously. I guess we're on the cusp of World War II,
Well,
so they probably justified it. But I mean, come on.
right. And they didn't have Instagram.
One of my favorite sports stories that there is. It was today in 46. I think if you were to make this bet with 1 million people, most of them would have answered this question, Earl Weaver. But the first manager in Major League Baseball history to be ejected from both games of a doubleheader was today in 1946. It was the New York Giants, and it was Mel Ott.
Nice.
He's also the answer to all the baseball player crossword puzzles. Only the Lonely by Roy Orbison. His first major hit peaked at number 2 today in 1960. Tony Bennett made his debut at Carnegie Hall in 1962. Today in 63 was the first Sunday night baseball game ever. Like, we didn't play on Sunday nights. The Giants lost
John Miller didn't call that game, though.
No, he did not. The Giants lost, the San Francisco Giants by then, lost to the Houston Colts 3-0.
Can I interject something real quick?
Yes, you can always.
There's in the history of sports media class, there was a time in Pittsburgh where somebody invented the center field camera of baseball, where they have it, and the general manager of the Pirates said, "Don't use this in the broadcast. No one will ever come to the ballpark again."
Wow. Could you find a hockey person and ask them why we don't have play-by-play cameras between the blue line and the goal as opposed to one center ice camera? I think hockey's shot wrong. That's my interjection on your interjection.
There you go.
Today in 73, Secretariat wins the Belmont, giving us the first Triple Crown winner in 25 years. Great heavyweight fight today in 1978. Larry Holmes beats Ken Norton in a 15-round split decision at Caesar's Palace. Richard Pryor lit himself on fire today, freebasing cocaine in 1980. The Lakers beat the Celtics at the Garden in Game 6 in 85 to win the title. Abdul-Jabbar, your finals MVP.
I saw that Celtics-Lakers documentary. Great documentary.
It really is. Today in 1990, the second rap album to reach number 1 in America. MC Hammer's Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him.
Nice. He follows me on Twitter.
Did you have parachute pants?
No, I did not. But
Okay.
Can't touch this. Yeah, MC Hammer. He was a ball boy for the Oakland A's.
Right. Charlie Finley loved him. Licensed to Ill by the Beastie Boys was the first rap album to reach number 1 for what it's worth. Today in 93, they were still good at hockey north of the border because the Montreal Canadiens would beat the LA Kings in 5 games for their 24th Stanley Cup championship. Yeah. In 01, Seth, the Avs beat your Devils.
Yes, they did. Game 7.
Yes, it was the second title for the Avs in that 7
Martin
game.
Brodeur's greatest regret, losing that game.
Today in 03, though, Game
Devils beat
7
the Ducks. I was there.
at the Meadowlands. He beat me to it. I just did the year, and he knows what happened.
Yep. But J.S. Giguere won the Conn Smythe, the losing goalie.
7-game series. Patrick Kane would score in overtime in Game 6 today in 2010, and the Blackhawks would win their first Stanley Cup since 1961. It was today in 2019 that David Ortiz was shot in the Dominican Republic.
Great podcast. I did a whole podcast on the investigation.
And I only put this in for you. I don't know if you like the show. I don't know if you care about the show. But it would have never made this segment if you were not co-hosting today.
Okay.
The TV series Loki premiered on Disney Plus
yes.
today in 2021.
Yes.
Good show.
That guy, Jonathan Majors, who they've written out of the entire MCU.
Is it a good show?
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah. Tom Hiddleston, who's a big Arsenal fan. He's the lead. He's the main actor.
Yeah, that's what it says here too. Jackie Mason, comedian, Jackie Wilson, singer, Dave Parker, the Cobra, would have all celebrated birthdays today.
Jackie Mason and Jackie Wilson.
Yeah.
What would that sound like? Hey, let me tell you, I like your songs.
I can't try to do Jackie Wilson. I'm not going to do only my teardrops.
Only teardrops.
Only teardrops. Yeah, not even going to try to go that high. That would be that. That's a. You know what I want?
He can get really high pitched voice.
I want someone to do one of those mashups of that right there. Seth's in his own world with that one now. In his head for the rest of this segment, that's all he's doing. He's doing a mashup of Jackie Mason and Jackie Wilson.
Jackie Mason.
Michael J. Fox and Aaron Sorkin are both 65. Johnny Depp is 63. Teddy Bruschi is 53. Udonis Haslam, 46. And for Seth, Natalie Portman's 45. That's someone who wouldn't have made the list if I was doing this without Seth.
That's the funny one when in SNL, when Andy Samberg starts trying to ask her nerdy Star Wars questions and she schools him on it.
I wouldn't have been able to understand the questions.
Yeah, it's Natalie Portman's hysterical. She's also in Thor.
And more movies that I haven't seen.
She played Jane Foster.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
For the good today, we go to Kansas City, where two brothers set up a lemonade stand, something apparently they've been doing for years. But a Karen decided to contact emergency services to report the boys' business. Police officers arrived on the scene, and Perez and Jaquil Reese thought that they were in trouble. Not the case. Not only did the police officers not shut the stand down, but they bought lemonade.
There you go.
And basically told every single fire department and police officers within earshot to come by and buy lemonade. Within 30 minutes, dozens of first responders visited and purchased drinks. They made $280 in less than a half an hour.
In nickels. In nickel.
This one I wish I had David for, because Seth's just going to go along with it. But for the bad, we go to a British institution aimed at destigmatizing anatomy. It's the Vagina Museum.
Nice.
Where people keep stealing a MILF magnet from one of the displays. They had a magnet which said MILF, so it got stolen. They put up a new one. And apparently every time they put up a new MILF magnet, someone rips it off at the Vagina Museum.
Nice.
And
Did you ever see the show Naked Attraction on HBO Max?
I did not.
It's a game show where these people are in these pods and they go from the feet up, and you have to judge them based purely on what they look like naked, and you have to select them. It's this crazy BBC show that's on HBO Max.
I would do great on that show until they got above the knee. My calves are fantastic. It's my best body feature.
And there's like a commentator like that calls it while they're doing, and they're interviewing the person, like the suitor, and they're like they show their stuff, and they're like, so what do you make of this one? Oh, it's great.
Finally, the ugly, if that wasn't, we go to Lee County, where a traffic spot turned a little more than that when the driver refused to give his ID. Then he put his window up. Then he called 911 while he was being pulled over. Troopers would box in the car and gave him opportunities to put his window down and cooperate, but he didn't. So they smashed the window and arrested Marion Gonzalez. While he continued to resist arrest, he was tased, handcuffed, and taken to jail. That's too many TikTok videos of people seeing I don't have to give you my ID. I'm telling you right now, it's where it all stems from. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today, June the 9th, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, offering great pay, benefits, overtime, plenty of other jobs available. CapeCops.com, CapeCops.com. All right, game 4 tonight, Seth. Vegas and Carolina. This one obviously in Vegas before they head back to Carolina. I wouldn't say it's a must win for Carolina, but it's getting pretty close. They're down 2-1 in the series. Controversy over which goaltender will play. I think it's Freddie Anderson. I don't think there's really any question there. 1, do you think Anderson plays? And 2, do you think the series is evened up when they head back to Carolina?
I'm so torn. I'm so torn on this series. I think it's going to not be determined by the third period. How about that? So I think the third period we won't know. You know, my logic should be that I want Vegas, but I'm having a lot of trouble with this Carter Hart as the goalie. I'm not a fan.
By the way, look at as venomous chants go. Game 2 in Carolina, the Carolina crowd chanting "no means no" at the goaltender. Ouch.
Look, I understand that, you know, he served his time and
well, he was acquitted. I mean, he was acquitted, but
he was acquitted. Yes, they all were acquitted.
Hockey Canada gave her.
None of the other ones are in the NHL.
He's the best one.
I understand that, but it doesn't make me happy to see it.
No, and actually, the Flyers got screwed. He was their guy. They terminated all the contracts. So it's a very layered story.
Mike McLeod is playing in Slovakia, and this guy's playing in the NHL, and it gives me a bad vibe. I don't like it. I don't know how I would feel if he signed on my team. I really don't.
Game 4 tonight. I think it's 2-2. I think Seth's right, though. We've had all 1-goal games. We've had 2 overtime games. No reason to think it's going to be any different tonight. If anything, if it's a 2-goal game, if it's a 2-goal game, it's because we had an empty netter. That's really the way I think. Rays hosting the Red Sox. Marlins hosting the Diamondbacks. All the other series that were going on continue. Skeens throwing for the Pirates today. They host the Dodgers as far as that goes. Phillies and Blue Jays, that's a really good series. Braves and White Sox. Who would have thought that's a series of a first-place team and a wild card team, even though we're still in early June?
It's the end times.
The White Sox, one of 5 American League teams over 500. Absolutely bizarre that their turnarounds happen so quickly at the expense of other teams in that division. Obviously, the Tigers are awful. The Twins are a train wreck with their sell-off last year. So it is a mess in that division. And Cleveland just keeps on keeping on, even though no one thinks that that's supposed to happen. But they're getting it done with the Guardians. They continue with the Yankees tonight. Seth, I will not. I promise I don't promise anything. I will try my best to not have to call you to co-host anytime soon. My goal.
Let's just hope he gets back
Tuesday. My host is back, and then on Wednesday, you and David can chat for the first time in a while. That would
be great. I would love that.
Trent Bally will do it tomorrow. Seth, thanks, buddy. You know I appreciate it. I will get your gift in the mail.
Paid by the word.
Exactly. Tampa Bay Lightning jersey heading your way. That's for sure. Miller and Moulton. Miss any of the show? Download the podcast. Tomorrow on the show, maybe Seth Everett, unless he opts out. He is allowed to opt out at any time from tomorrow's show. Other than that, we'll have some hockey guests. We'll have maybe some hoop guests getting ready for game 4 there as well. Probably try to touch base with Leigh Ellis since we screwed that up today. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for your patience through our technical difficulties. We'll do it all over again tomorrow, 6 a.m.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. AmericanPaintSupplies.com. CCC 1332512.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive. Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton